yeah, yeah. Show them how we do it, y'all. Shake your groove thing, yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. Hi. Yeah, yeah. Disagree. Travel the world in the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something. Come on. I'm sweaty as shit. I'm sorry. I'm the only one in here. If you guys are just coming in the back, find your way into the party. This is the eXp party, y'all. If y'all ready to learn about making some money, somebody say yeah. I see you, girl. Go ahead. I love it. Go her, girl. She working hard. I love that jacket, too. I love it. Yeah. Oh. Y'all got to put your hands up on this one. Say, oh. Rock this club. Go all night. We gon' light it up like it's dynamite. Told you twice. Light it up. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love this pink outfit. You crushing that. Looks great. I see you, girl. Ah, 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 ah. Let's go. Don't be afraid to have a good time, y'all. This is your party. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, let's go. Baby, baby. Girl, these boots. Woo! Go ahead, girl. Go ahead with these boots. Y'all got to step your game up over here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just walking in, you're late. What's wrong with you? We've been in here partying. We've been in here partying. They just getting here to the party. We drank all the alcohol. There's nothing left for you. You should have been here. Now, this is a sing-along. Y'all got to sing this one as loud as you can. Sing it if you know it. Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide enough. Mountain high enough. Go ahead, girl. I see you. Do your dance. Do your dance. eXp, if you in the house, make some noise. Yeah, man. eXp family, this is your 2-minute warning. Make some noise if you're ready to get this started. That's right, you've got 2 minutes to find your seat, grab a chair, call somebody who's missing, run out in the hallway. Don't let them miss day 2 of general session, starting in 2 minutes. Let's go. Yeah. I was actually going to call Gail first. You want John first? Yeah. All right. All right. You've already done it. You're amazing. It's perfect. They're here. I'm here for you. You guys are going to be awesome. Tequila. We'll do a shot. We'll do a shot after. 60 seconds. 60 seconds, everybody. Find your seats. In for 6. 5, 6, out for 10. Get all the air out. Little reset. Have fun. Hard. Oh, you get it all out.
Good morning, eXp!
And now, let's welcome to the stage President of eXp Realty Canada, John Sy, and eXp Realty agent, Gail DeMarco!
Bang, bang, baby, finger on the trigger. Eggs getting bigger. You're looking mannequin.
All right, everyone. Good afternoon, eXp family. How are you all doing? Oh, come on, I can't hear you. How are you all doing? That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah. Welcome to day 2 of the general session. Gail and I are thrilled to kick off things with you today. Our goal is to bring the energy and keep it at that level all afternoon. Fair enough? Let's go. Look at the person to the right and to the left of you. Give them a high five for being part of the most agent-centric brokerage on the planet that just surpassed 88,000 agents worldwide.
Let's hit it.
Let's go.
Woo!
All right. It is because of each and every one of you that we are the company that we are today. And I'm so thrilled that we continue
Hey, get
to
off
grow.
the stage. No.
Oh. It's okay, I can read past him. Speaking of growing, it makes me especially happy to announce that Canada just surpassed 6,000 agents worldwide, nationwide. Woo! Where are my Canadians? Stand up. Stand up. Let's go, Canadians! All right, and the good news.
Hey, John, I just got to say how honored I am to be on the stage with the president, the new president of eXp Canada. It's a huge honor. Woo!
Thank you for the opportunity to serve. You know, eXp has given me everything I have today, and it's just an honor for me to be able to give back. And Gail, I heard you made a big move recently. Tell us more about that.
Ooh, yeah, I actually just moved from Sacramento, home of Brent Grove, California, to St. Augustine 2 months ago. Yeah.
It's only possible because of the model that we have, Gail.
Yeah, absolutely. People keep saying, how are you doing that? How are you running one of the largest teams and then you move by yourself? Because I'm going to do it again right here with everything eXp has to offer. Woo.
All right. And the good news keeps on coming. This morning, a 200-agent team joined eXp India. Welcome to the Fanny Naresh Arora.
Woo!
Let's keep the applause going and give it up to a few more of our newest agents that joined eXp yesterday through our Explorer program. Welcome to the family, Rob Daniel and Victoria Mangiovillano.
I'm glad I
That was
didn't
a
have
hard
to
name
pronounce
for me to
Wow.
pronounce.
Welcome, Rob and Victoria. You know, you just made an incredible decision to join eXp, and we're so excited to see you guys shine. We got a few reminders for us to kick off this session. But first, if you haven't downloaded the app, you might ask, why now? Well, there's so many great things on there, including the new partnerships we have with these great new vendors, including Levi and Haas, and just amazing, amazing vendors. So get on there. And also, we're transitioning to the next slide. So, here we go. I'm looking out here, and because I can't see anything, I want to remember this moment. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to take a quick selfie since I've been a photographer for 25 years. I have little arms like a crocodile, so let's see if this works.
Let's do it.
Here we go. All righty. And flip the switch. And right now, let's all chant, guys, please. eXp.
eXp! 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 eXp!
That's awesome.
All right, let's take a look at that. How is it?
Oh, your eyes are shut. Let's do it again. No. Just kidding. It was actually great. By the way, we'd love you to hashtag, and I've been sending a lot of pictures and videos, eXp Summit, to make sure that we're all on the same social team and we can find it with eXp. And if you're posting any of your photos and videos, please make sure to add that hashtag as well. So John, here's where I cry. This is kind of our last day together. And it's truly been an incredible week. Like an incredible week. Can we all agree? It's been incredible. And now what I'm thinking about is me and Michael Valdez in Vegas at eXpCon. I'm like, I'm buying my ticket. It's only $4.99.
Are things going okay with Michael?
The restraining order is only for another 10 days. But as long as I'm 100 miles away from him, I'm okay.
Fair enough.
But the tickets today are $4.99. And we all know they did run out of the discounted tickets. So I would absolutely get that ticket. Vegas was incredible. And Glenn Sanford, he made an announcement that really had me up most of the night thinking about AI. So if you're interested in AI, he's going to focus his event on that. It's going to be incredible.
Scan it right now. Get your tickets. Let's go.
Let's scan it. Let's
Come
do
on
it.
now.
Come on.
I'm a salesperson. Come on now. Sign the contract. All right.
The highlights were incredible.
Yeah,
this
so
week.
how was this Shareholder Summit for you? I'm sad it's the last one, but did we play it full out this week?
Oh my God.
What was the highlight for you, Gail?
Oh my God. Honestly, there were so many good, besides launching the new luxury at eXp, there were so many great things, but bar none, and this also kept me up. I haven't actually slept since I got here, and I haven't even gone out. But just all the information that's been downloaded in this small brain of mine, it's like Ed Milet. Are you kidding me? Ed Milet. Can we hear it for Ed Milet? Woo! It was incredible.
Who had dry eyes in here yesterday? Not me. I was ugly crying.
You're heartless if you weren't crying. Oh my goodness. I mean, I bawled, you bawled, and we kind of made, I think all of us made a big decision, right, after listening to Ed.
So I want to give you guys permission to let it all out. If you're holding back your cry yesterday, I want you to let it all out. You need energy, guys, to finish strong. Who wants to finish strong? Say aye.
Aye.
Get on your feet. Let's go. Come on.
Let's do it. Let's get on our feet.
Let's go. Let's bring the energy in the room. Come on, come on, come on.
Let's do it.
In honor of Ed Milet's affirmations, repeat after me. I'm the one.
It stops here. It stops here.
I will change my family tree.
I'm the freaking one. Me.
I'm a beast.
I'm a beast. Let's go. Woo!
Great job, guys.
Oh,
Now
man.
we may set. All right. Really good job. I like it.
All right, so let's get started here. John and I are thrilled to welcome our first speaker to the stage. She is a mission-driven, let me just tell you what I think about her. She is freaking awesome, okay? I have spent 45 minutes. She's taken over success coaching. She has demonstrated the developing and high effect. I can't read this stuff. So Amy Somerville is now taking over success. Glenn Sanford was very, very strategic in picking her out. I am blown away with her vision and what she wants to do. So I'm just honored to call her my friend.
And in her new role, she is focused on re-imaging services to deliver the ultimate personal and professional development experience, championing the next generation of success-minded go-getters who are seeking mentorship, development, and growth in their lives. So please put your hands together for the CEO of Success Enterprises, Amy Somerville.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, what a welcome. What's up, eXp? Woo! is incredible. Thank you all for the incredible love, for all of your energy. You know, I've had the honor of serving this industry in different capacities for more than 20 years now. And it is one of the most fulfilling, isn't it fulfilling? The most dynamic, yet the most challenging fields and industries there are. The last couple of years have been a wild ride for a lot of us. And I would say in many ways, it has made us rethink what it means to be successful. Success in this business used to be exclusively defined by volume, transactions, commissions, team size, market share. But as we all know, these metrics are not enough to guarantee long-term success today. Success also used to be defined as an outcome. Once I achieve a certain award, once I buy this house, once I put on these comfy shoes, once I live this incredible lifestyle, then I'll be defined as a success, seen as a success. Well, I'm a strong believer that success is first a mindset. You have to think success before you can act successfully, before you can become, quote unquote, successful. Ed Milet, gosh, he was incredible yesterday, wasn't he? Woo! He described this kind of same concept really beautifully when he talked about his son and his son's golf journey. Think success, act success, become success. So what is the secret sauce? Well, I've been doing my own little market research. I'm a member of the sandwich generation. Does anybody know what that means? Everybody know what that means? Means I love a good sandwich. No. Yes, actually it does. No, that's not what it means, but I do love a good sandwich. It means that I am supporting my kids, the younger generation, at the same time as I'm supporting my parents, the older generation. So I'm kind of the sandwich in between. Anyone else here, now that you know the definition, sandwich generation? Power to us, man, what a blessing. But I am also extremely lucky because I get to support my grandparents. They are still alive and kicking at the ripe old age of 90 and 93. Can you believe that? So I know, I can't wait to go back and tell them that you guys clap for them. Thank you. Being a good steward of personal, professional development my entire career, I have learned that the best perspectives, the best advice comes from the very young and the very old. Why? Because those who haven't yet been jaded by the opinions, the ideas, the weight of life, and those who have lived so much life that they actually know what matters and what doesn't. Being a member of the sandwich generation, I recently asked my children who are 10 and 13, how do you define success? My 13-year-old was like, that's easy, jumped right in. It's having the opportunity to do what you love. And my 10-year-old came swinging in and said, yeah, but with those you love. Pretty smart, huh? I have no idea who raised those kids. We got real lucky. But put simply, the opportunity to do what you love with the people you love. Now, this past weekend, right before coming to Shareholders, we moved my grandparents, 90 and 93, into assisted living. It was a tough moment for our family because we were thinking outcome. But my grandparents were pretty thrilled about it. I took the moment on Sunday before flying out here on Monday to ask my 93-year-old grandfather, what does success mean to you? So he jokingly answered first by saying, honey, at my age, getting up in the morning, now that's success. But then he followed up with enjoying experiences with the people you love. He's excited about assisted living because it's an experience, not an outcome for him. Weird, right? So my kids, my grandparents, their definitions, 80 years in difference between the two of them, but almost identical. Experiences, opportunities, and love. So how does this affect you all in real estate, my personal stories? I want you to know my family thinks you live the dream. You are the definition of success. You get to provide the opportunities, the experiences to your clients, to your teams, to your communities, to each other, and you get to do it with love and a servant leader heart. Friends, this is the very best industry on the planet Earth to work in. And I would love the opportunity, the experience to come alongside you in whatever your personal success journey looks like. I want you to know that I have an incredible team. The incredible success team is waiting outside these doors to support you, to serve you in your personal development, your professional development, training, coaching, whatever needs you have in that success journey. We are here for you. We actually, it's kind of a little bit of a gift. We put together a life assessment, which is an app. So here's the QR code. You can click on it. And several questions that are going to take you through. This is going to take you a while, so you're going to have to pay attention to what's going on up here for the remainder of shareholders. But take a picture, keep it on your phone. If you don't get a chance, there's a QR code out at the booth. It's going to walk you through several self-assessment kinds of questions about your life with your family, about the time you commit to yourself, about your commitment to your business growth, spiritual growth, the entire assessment life wheel, and tell you where maybe you need a little bit more air in a particular area. And that's what the coaching team is here to help support you do. Success is here to help you do that. Now, also, just in case, real estate productivity and real estate leadership are part of how you define success. We have partnered with the best of the best in real estate from a coaching and training perspective. Anybody see Haas Pratt or John Cheplack today? Make some noise for my friends. I was running back and forth between the rooms. They absolutely killed it. We have partnered with them to bring you a coaching training bundle. Again, head out into the foyer there and go to the success booth, get a little bit more information about what we're doing, but we have partnered with the best of the best to bring you the best of the best. Woo! I'm very competitive. All right. So mindset is the theme of the day, and it is the focus of our first panel. We are talking strength and perseverance, opportunity, experiences, and love with three-time icon and the #2 team lead in Canada, Ms. Jen Jones. We got three-time icon, two-time Triple Diamond Award winner, Matt Gardner, or Roar. I think we get to roar at him. And the man behind the #1 team in Michigan, Mr. Kurt Sherwell. Everyone, please welcome our panelists to the stage. Big, huge, warm welcome.
All right.
Woo, you've got fans in the audience. All right, so now this panel represents a diverse group of people from different areas, but also perspectives, if that makes sense. So Jen is talking agents today. Matt is talking investor, and Kurt is going to be talking team leader. We have Canada represented in the house. Anybody Canada? Woo-hoo! Florida. Florida. And then the great state of Michigan. All right. See, I love everybody just like part of the community. I love this.
That's it.
So Jennifer, and I'm going to call you Jen. We're now new friends.
Absolutely.
Jen has a team of 40 realtors operating super systematized. And your goal, your passion is raising up new agents, right?
Absolutely. So I think that's been one of our skills. And I know even over the past couple of days, one of the big things I've heard is don't hire new agents. New agents are a lot of work. It's so tough. Where we actually found that almost all of our top producers, and I call them our unicorns, and we have a lot, were actually all new agents. So by creating those systems and training, we've been able to bring on all these amazing agents and actually have them as part of our team. Where the truth is, if you weren't going to hire new agents, you were going to miss those opportunities of having these amazing unicorns on your team, working for you, working with you. So that would be what we work on.
You are growing them up. All right, yeah. Fantastic. And Matt, I'm going to go with optimizes strength and perseverance, which is our topic today. Sure. Fighter pilot in your previous life and first career, and also Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer survivor.
Yep, yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
You have transacted over 100 million in sales as an individual. Wow.
Amazing, amazing.
And your focus is mainly working with investors, but you're an investor yourself.
Correct. Yeah. I think it's interesting with the strength and perseverance piece. You know, I've been on top of the world and know what it's like to be that fighter pilot, and not just be the fighter pilot, but be the instructor to the fighter pilots.
Wow.
And live the dream and have it all come crashing down and then kind of grow it back again. And so I'm excited to be here for sure.
So excited to have you.
Yeah.
All right, Kurt.
All right, look.
My new best friend. You run a team of 120 agents, have 300 agents in your eXp org. Particularly
It's
great.
3,000, but 300 sounds good.
3,000? Gasp.
Thank you.
That's leadership. All right, 3,000. Particularly grateful for your opportunity because it supports your journey and your story as well.
Yeah, you do a lot of great things for a lot of people, and people take notice. So what you were talking about, we had an opportunity. Everybody's got a story. You got yours. We've got ours. They just did a story. I got picked to be on Amazon Prime, which is pretty cool. Comes out in a couple months. That'll be kind of neat. Representing eXp on TV, so that'll be kind of fun. So when you do these kinds of things, thank you. So when you do these kind of things, you got to really put it out there. And right now, you know, through the strength and perseverance, you got to persevere. And Ed Milet said it great yesterday. You got to not quit. You got to really go after it. And you got to bring it. And you got to bring it for real. Mean what you say what you mean, and mean it every single time. And show up. How you show up matters. Agents out there today need you more than ever, right? I didn't get 3,000 people in my incredible organization with all the agents that I'm partnered with without doing that. They all have the same message. We keep it intact every single time. We bring it. The opportunity is cloud-based. It's screaming for cloud-based. Everybody's going cloud-based. The top teams, or the top businesses in every industry. 2009, eXp was established. 2009, WhatsApp was established. 2009, Uber was established. 2009, Airbnb launched. 2009, Venmo came out. Do you guys get the theme? These people are dying for you. Every one of those agents out there uses those things. You've got to show them the opportunity here to really take their game to a whole nother place.
Oh, man, that was a good.
Hopefully that helps.
Good. All right, so we're talking about strength and perseverance. One of my favorite quotes is Thomas Edison, who said, "Many of life's failures are people who didn't realize how close they were to success when they gave up." All right, so we're talking about perseverance, and Jen, we'll start with you. In your opinion, how important is perseverance and strength to this wild industry right now?
It's so critical. So who here has experienced low inventory within the housing market, right? So things have definitely shifted, all these interest rate increases and all these things going on in the economy. And as a result, you know, the mindset piece of this for agents is they're struggling day to day to figure out where their next deal is coming from in order to feed their families. So I think focusing on the refocus to, you know, your lead generation, your door knocking, your dialing, your whatever it is that you're using for your preferred lead gen is actually doing it every day. And for us, it means as team leaders or people running teams is to actually be that support consistently. So running meetings with them every single morning, getting them going, getting them pumped up, you know, that mindset portion of, you know, whether the market goes up or whether the market goes down, we always outperform the market. Because really, our success is determined by what our inner thoughts are. We believe it's going to be great. That is what's going to happen. If we believe it's going to turn out in a negative way, we're going to bring more of that. So just that refocus.
Yeah, one of my favorite things you said, everybody knows the 80-20 rule. The 20% are the ones that persevered.
All the time. Yeah, all the time. We pull the stats even for our local market, which is Toronto, and it's amazing how just over and over again, right? The people that consistently show up for themselves and love themselves and their family and their big why enough are the ones that consistently produce. So that top 80 or top 20% of anything, any sort of industry, are the ones that are always doing 80% of the business, right? So you make that choice. Do I want to be the 20%? Or do I want to be the 80% that are struggling and, you know, it's difficult making finances work? So it is a choice every day.
It is a choice every day.
Every
I love
day.
that. All right, so Matt, let's talk roar. We can call you that?
Rawr. Yeah.
Roar. As a I mean, like, you're really legit Top Gun, teaching
Yep.
fire pilots. You have a strong connection to the word grit.
Yeah, absolutely. I was living the little boy's dream, basically, you know, flying fighter jets and the best stealthy fighter jets that the world had, basically, and it was a dream. But life throws challenges at you, right? And it was a matter of a very short time span that some curveballs were thrown at me. In this very short time span, I had 2 of my friends that died in 2 separate plane crashes. I had to get emergency heart surgery, got diagnosed with cancer, followed by chemo, and then ultimately it culminated with the Air Force sending me an email saying you have 10 days to vacate, basically, to get out.
Wow.
And so from there, I was looking at my career, and perseverance was a requirement at that point. Like I said, okay, I want to start myself scratch, didn't have much money, and I just want to build a foundation in real estate. And I read Angela Duckworth's book, Grit, at that point, and it really resonated with me, where she talks about, you know, effort, consistent effort over time, you know, plus talent is really what leads to success.
Love it.
And when we're in this industry, you know, challenges, obstacles are inevitable. It's a fact of life in real estate. And so understanding that the people who are going to take consistent, intentional action in the face of challenges are the ones who are going to succeed.
Fabulous. Kurt, thoughts on perseverance?
Really quick and short, straight to the point for you guys. Stop being so busy, start being purposeful, be productive. We're all busy. All the agents out there you're talking to, they're busy. You need to help them be productive, be strategic. Have a schedule, have a routine, and have a purpose. That's where you need to be and when you need to be there. The purpose is what you're actually doing, or the purpose is the why of what you're doing. So you've got to have your routine, which is what you're actually doing. So you take it backwards, know your why, make sure that you have your purpose, so what it is that you're actually doing, and then be on your schedule. You can help these people. They need you. Meet them where they are. Help them get to the place that they need to be. Show them the opportunity that they don't have where they are. You will change your business. It's tough right now. You're making less money. Bring in some more agents. You'll make up that difference, and you'll help them get something that they don't have now. eXp is the leader in this industry for one reason only. All of you out there and all of us up here. Get the message out. Stop being worried about telling them. They need to hear the story. Bring them to the table, guys.
I feel like as we're getting the wrap up, that might have been the drop the mic moment. How about a huge hand for our unbelievable panel?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. Nice job.
Thank you to Amy and our panel. Now, eXp family, let's direct your attention to the satellite stage and welcome eXp Realty agent Daphne Pinkney and eXp Realty agent Chad Hedrick.
Hey, we made it to day 2 here at the general session. We hope you're having just as much fun as we are here for the Shareholder Summit. Daphne and I are so excited to be here today to present this very special VIP panel featuring 2 incredibly talented people that are changing the face of real estate. Part of the reason they have been so successful is because they created their own path and took the road less traveled. Daphne, I'm told that you have a personal connection with one of these panelists.
Yes, that would be accurate. Thank you so much. I am Daphne Pinkney from Chicago and talk about the road less traveled. I'm so excited to be here at eXp to introduce the first panelist, my good friend, Elena Cardone, author, empire builder.
Please welcome to the stage eXp agent and moderator, Kendall Bonner. Author, businesswoman, empire builder, and my friend, Elena Cardone. Go ahead.
And last but certainly not least, let's introduce the renovation rescuer and HGTV's one and only Latino host of the hit show, Rico to the Rescue, Rico Leon.
Hello, good morning, or good afternoon already.
Is it morning? What time is it?
It's afternoon.
Oh my gosh.
I know, gosh. Well, thank you guys so much for being here with us this afternoon, and thank you to my two amazing panelists. I can't wait to get some of your story out there and allow this amazing crowd to learn from both of you. So Elaine, I'm going to start with you. You know, eXp is known, we've all decided and determined and allowed it to be a legacy building company for each and every one of us. And of course, you have 10x that, right?
Love it, thank you.
Yes, so talk to us about legacy building. Talk to us about how do each of us really take, what principles, what ideas, what concepts do we need to implement to build our own legacy, and talk about the impact it's had on you and your business and your family.
Okay, so let's see. In 2008, Grant and I, if you don't know, I'm married to Grant Cardone. Does anyone in the room know who Grant Cardone is? Yay! Okay, I'll give myself an award for that one. But in 2008, we were on the verge of losing everything financially, and it was not what it was today by any means. Well, what that did at the time in 2008, it forced us to really, actually, I'm going to take credit for that. It forced me to actually reevaluate and establish my mindset and my viewpoints on things, because prior to 2008, I had to operate, and I was operating as this strong, powerful, independent woman, never depend on anyone, especially a man, for anything. Thought I could do it all by myself, everything, every role, every hat. If I delegated one little role to anybody else, I was a sellout, and it wouldn't count, and it wouldn't matter. Well, in 2008, that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I cannot do this by myself. And I got this idea about building an empire. And the idea about an empire is, how do you create something that's so big that can't be destroyed, that can't be taken away? How do I get on the same page with my partner and in life? I looked at empires, and there hasn't been one empire in the history of the world that has ever been made with one person alone. Like, if you want to build an empire, it takes a team, it takes people. Y'all are my eXp family. Like, I need you, right, for the empire to grow. So we're talking, and by the way, one of the reasons why I joined eXp is because of the opportunity with our revenue share, with our stocks. Those are legacy play moves. I mean, there's one thing about earned income, but what I've learned now in the position and place that we are in life now is you can earn your way to rich. You cannot earn your way to wealth. Like, study all the greats. They've got to have money in a second and a third source of income, and if they can collaborate and work together I make up words. Symbiotically.
Yeah, that works.
Does that work?
It works today.
Never went to college, but I did go to real estate school, and I passed.
Woo! Yeah.
So okay, I'm gonna wrap up this, but look, the thing about an empire, it's a mindset. It's about how do I include people? How do I expand? It's people that have everything you want. It's collaborations. I said this at the last eXp event. Collaborations are the new currency. If you want legacy, figure out how to collaborate with people, figure out how to work in a coordinated, collaborated effort together on your common goals and purpose to reach a heightened level of success. And so that is the entire model that Grant and that I apply with everyone in my life that I meet is, if I meet you, how can we work together? How can we grow? How can we hit our goals and our dreams? And this whole idea of building an empire, again, it's a mindset of how big can you go? And it starts with a commitment to just commit that you're committed to this mindset. And if you fall short of an empire, you're still way ahead than the average, oh, I was only gonna do this much, you fall short and you're at the bottom. So if you go here and you fall short, then let's face it, you're miles ahead of where you were in the first place. So it's changed our lives in a very big way to think big. And lastly, it's not about, money is very important and you do need that resource on the planet, but it's about abundance. Abundance in integrity, abundance in courage, abundance in relationships, abundance in grit, audacity. So that's what builds up an empire, and so that's how we made it to where we are. We're, you know, scratched and clawed our way to the top.
I love her passion.
Love it, yeah,
right?
hunger, I love it.
The passion that you just delivered, that is so inspiring, and thank you for sharing those nuggets. Rico, you and I have talked backstage, we've talked in preparing for this, and you know, I know you wanted to bring some sauce, some fire.
I was like, how spicy can I be? I was asking everyone there, I'm getting 2 different answers. Like, be spicy, is like, but also don't swear. I'm like, I don't know what to do right now.
Right?
I mean.
So I wanted to ask you, you know, let's talk about value proposition, social media. You know, what do we need to be doing that's different?
So that's a 2-parter, value proposition, social media. Social media I'm gonna cover second. When it comes to value proposition, I know we're very competitive. Like, we're acting as friends, but we're also trying to feed our own families. So it's a me versus you thing. Like, what, you know, there's an agent here, an agent here. Why use this agent versus this one? And I always ask agents all the time, like, what is it, like, why should I go with you? And I hear the same thing all the time. It's like, hey, I've been doing this blank amount of years. I speak multiple languages. The community loves me. I have a strong social media presence. I know everyone that's in lending and title and da-da-da-da. That's our resume, right? Well, that's what part of that's the value add. And the reason why I'm getting a lot more phone calls than other people is because, like, okay, let me do my pitch. Well, the first thing I do is I figure out how people feed their kids. I figure out, hey, what do you do for work? What is it that you do for work? What are your hardships? Now, is the hardship, oh, you can't find a babysitter? Well, guess what? Let me call some people, take care of that hardship. Oh, what is it that you do for work? Oh, you're in roofing, you're in this, you're in massage therapy. Okay, cool. I'm gonna invite you to some networking events. Because at the end of the day, I'm helping them feed their kids and I'm helping them pay their bills. So who cares what resume this person has versus me? Because at the end of the day, if I'm taking care of them, that's who they're gonna remember when it comes to their listing. So that's a value proposition I think people need to start doing. Now, let's just say that's a 1v1. And if this is a group effort, I mean, old school style, I knock on some doors, my team knocks on some doors, and then what's the pitch? Hey, I'm your local realtor, I do this, I know everyone in the neighborhood, ha ha ha. Cool, I like it, that's a great pitch. But what you need to be doing is getting your business card, put a little piece of magnet on the back of it, and just say, hey, by the way, yes, I'm a local realtor, but if you need anything, if you need a plumber, if you need a handyman, if you need this, if you need anything that you want, you need a massage therapist, da-da-da-da, I have such a vast network of trusted people, so if you need anything, call me. Don't just take care of people when it comes to real estate, take care of people when it comes to everything, and you set yourself apart. Now, this works both ways, because guess what? Now you have a network of 15, 20 people that have all these trades, and now you're helping them. Now you're referring them work. Now it's 2 birds, 1 stone. Now they're gonna think of you because you were helping them pay for their kids to eat. And if you keep doing this versus just always sales pitch and all that kind of stuff, start taking care of people, that reputation's gonna grow faster than anything. When it comes to social media, okay, Jesus. So a lot of people, like, I'm sure you're gonna be like, hey, build your authority and you know, put out content. Like, you guys already know this shit. Like, that should be super obvious. Like, be consistent, build your authority, like, no shit. So I'm gonna tell you something that you guys should stop doing. I did. I only have 2 S words and like maybe 1 F word. So there's a counter somewhere over here. So what people need to realize, I see how a lot of people hurt themselves on social media. We live in a world that everything's politicized, polarized. If you have a political opinion, it hurts you. If you say anything about Trump or Biden or BLM or LGBTQ or have a COVID opinion, half of your audience, which you may know or not know that's watching you, half of your audience is gone. And by the way, that's money. And I tell people all the time, when it comes to social media, be a Boy Scout, help the community, try not to hyper-politicize your opinions, because at the end of the day, your face is a billboard and you're a business. You're trying to bring in money. I tell people all the time, don't think red or blue, think green. Feed the kids. Feed the kids, take care of your family. And by the way, if you're trying to grow a team, do you think that team's gonna be like, hey, this person's politically smart? They're not getting in trouble. They're not causing a ruckus. I like that in a leader. This person's focused on helping me make money. And honestly, like that's why I'm saying like social media, you have to be very, very careful. If my social media is so Boy Scout, HGTV would never have picked me to have a show if it was hyper politicized. So don't miss any opportunities because you have that strong opinion. At the end of the day, you are a business. Take care of the family.
That's right. Some good nuggets there. So Elena, you and I've heard you talk about this concept called successful actions. Tell us, what does successful action mean, and what are some suggestions for successful actions that people need to be taking in order to achieve their goals?
So a successful action is an action that actually increased the stat. And it's very important to understand what your successful actions are so that you can repeat them. So in our offices, we have graphs and stats for everything. How many calls made, how many closings, how many, you get the point. So, in order to see what was responsible for the third closing, let's say you normally do 1 to 2, but now you're doing 3. What did you do? Did you make more phone calls? So it's important to graph those successful actions so that they can be repeated.
Yeah, I know. It reminds me of this concept that I'm constantly telling people. It's not just about your goals, it's the daily activities that you're going to commit to in order to achieve the goal. And when you do the daily activity, the goal shows up, the outcome, right? And so it's so important to do that. Rico, again, we're going to get saucy and spicy again with Rico here. I want you to crystal ball the future. What do you see are some of the biggest challenges, problems, the future for us, for real estate agents, new agents, teams? Tell us what you got.
Yeah, so what I'm going to talk about is something that's real life. It's talked about in rooms that I've been in, and it's going to be a little scary, but it's also going to be something that you guys are going to be utilizing in your future. I've been in rooms with a bunch of hedge fund companies and manufacturing companies, and they are playing 5D chess in real estate. 5D, there's so many steps ahead. They're printing money, and I'm going to tell you what they're doing. I would be in a room with them, and they're talking about how they manipulate the politics of South Africa so they could monopolize the quarries, and then once the quarries are monopolized, they buy shipyards with shell corporations so they could save money for the manufacturing companies, so they could save them like $10 to $15 million a quarter and all that kind of stuff into companies that they have equity in. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, this is an insane conversation. But it leads to this. They are going to make, like everything you hear on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and it's all true. Like these people are building up an abundance of wealth, third quarter, 30 billion. I'm not going to mention the hedge funds. You probably already know who they are. And they're going to buy up everything. And what you need to start telling your future clients, and yourselves need to know this, the future, there might not be houses to buy in 10, 15, 20 years because they are planning on buying everything. So your future pitch should be this. Hey, client, us, everyone, you have 2 options. The middle class, buy middle class, that's over with. So guess what? You have 2 options. You're either going to be a landlord or you're going to be a renter. They're going to be building beautiful communities with like the little golf simulators and the Pelotons, and you're going to love it. It's going to be awesome, and it's not going to be as expensive as buying a home.
Yep.
And they want you to think that way because guess what? When they buy everything up, what's that whole saying? Like you're going to own nothing and love it? It's 100% true. You're going to love it for like 2-3 years until they jack up rent, and you're going to be like, holy shit. Like, what am I supposed to do? So you need to start, like, because what's everyone say? Like, hey, you know what? Oh, don't worry about the interest rates. When in the future, you can refinance. Yeah, that's a good pitch for sure, but think more. Think more, because guess what? These guys are not messing around. They're definitely going to buy everything up. So you tell your clients right now and yourselves, what do you want to be? A landlord, or do you want to be a renter? So you start making your real estate decisions right now and make sure they're smart, and don't let the mortgage rates scare you.
And just to add to that, if you don't get those people, if you don't close on those people, like Rico was saying, learn your pitch for investors, because it is a massive buyer-investor market. So if you can learn how to speak the nomenclature, the buyer box, they're not interested in the counters and the cabinets. They're interested in, does it fit on the spreadsheet? If you learn how to understand those types of numbers and what it returns, it's a completely different way to show and pitch the home. So go get them all.
Love it.
Absolutely. Well, guys, was this not fantastic? I will tell you, the greatest opportunity that you have right here today is not in what you've just learned or the knowledge that you're acquiring. The greatest opportunity is in the action that you take with what you've learned. So thank you, Rico
thank
and
you.
Elena.
You're amazing.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Woohoo!
A big thank you to Kendall, Elena, and Rico. And now, welcome to the satellite stage, eXp Realty agents Cheryl Hauk and Jesse Zagorski.
For companies big and small that value customer satisfaction and loyalty, the most well-respected system for generating progress and measuring results is the Net Promoter System. For years now, Cheryl, eXp has employed the Net Promoter Score, and as a result, we are improving every day based on the feedback and needs from our agents and staff. It's all of us, okay? We are thrilled, check this out, Cheryl. We are thrilled to report that we ended the first quarter of 2023 with a global Net Promoter Score of 70. That's a level that rivals the most loved brands in the world. That's an incredible accomplishment, guys. Let's hear some applause for that.
Incredible. Few management ideas have spread so far and so wide as the Net Promoter System, which was created by the high priest of loyalty, Fred Reichheld. Not only did he create the Net Promoter System, but he is also the best-selling author of Winning on Purpose, a book that our founder and CEO, Glenn Sanford, refers to quite often. This book illustrates how companies with superior NPS consistently instills a founder's mentality, think equity shareholder, to deliver exceptional customer service. It's your indispensable guide for inspiring customer love within your own teams and your own customers. If you haven't picked up your copy of Winning on Purpose, you will certainly want to after this. Jesse and I have the distinct pleasure of presenting this incredibly engaging fireside chat featuring none other than the creator of NPS himself, Fred Reichheld.
Cheryl, on a scale of 1 to 10, can I tell you how excited I am for this session?
Good one.
So, that's an NPS joke. Okay, let's do it different. Everybody stand up, get on your feet, stand up. We gotta show some love, we gotta show some energy let's put our hands together, guys, for Fred Reichheld, our Chief Operating Officer, Patrick O'Neill, and our founder and CEO, Glenn Sanford. Let's give him some love.
All right. Awesome. We got a full house. Okay. Hey, well, first of all, Fred Reichheld, how many of you in your business measure your either your customer satisfaction using any tool, NPS or otherwise? How many of you measure your consumer satisfaction? Okay. So there's a few hands going up. It looks like maybe 5% of the room. You know, one of the things, and of course we got Patrick O'Neill, Chief Operating Officer, and it's almost a year, right? It's coming up.
10 months.
10 months. 10 months. Okay. Seems like 10 years.
It feels like 10.
Feels like 10 years. But so when Patrick joined, I started to talk a lot about. Well, I didn't start. He started to hear about this thing called NPS. And I've been working on this for many, many years. 2015, 2016, I literally had a senior exec who's no longer with us say I run companies based on P&Ls, not NPS. That didn't go over very well, and he ended up having to go separate ways. But one of the things that I just was enamored with was the simplicity of what NPS is, and what it could do in terms of helping us as an organization run. And you know, the question is on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely would you refer a friend or colleague to join eXp Realty? That's the one that we primarily use. You get that every quarter. We do that based on every quarter based on your anniversary date. So we send out an NPS survey every day. So we always have a little bit of a snapshot in time all the time as to what's going on around the organization. And it's the first thing we talk about at our management meeting that I have with all of our senior leaders. At the very beginning of every meeting, we talk about NPS first, and then if we have time, we talk about other stuff. So that's how important it is. It literally could take up the entire meeting, and oftentimes we don't get to the other things that are on the agenda, and sometimes we get feedback, well, shouldn't we have talked about this? Well, not if we got stuff to work on for our agents. And so with that, maybe Fred, you can just describe, I mean, you've been studying loyalty for a lot of your career.
Yep.
And you went down this journey, and maybe just tell our agents what.
Yeah, I'll give you my life history in 60 seconds. I started working with a large consulting organization, Bain, and saw companies that were really outperforming what you would expect from what you learn in business school about strategy principles and economics and what wins and what loses. And I finally figured out these companies, some were large, some were small, but they all were earning superior loyalty from their customers and employees. And that idea of loyalty generates an economic advantage that is just way bigger than accountants can measure. And over the years, I've focused on how do you measure that, how do you get a framework that works. And it's I hope, summarized in this simple idea of referring to a friend. The highest standard of excellence is treating people so well they feel like their life is enriched, and they want to share that with someone they care about. It's an act of love. You know, it's not, you don't bribe someone to make a referral. When they refer, that's co-branding their personal reputation with the organization. It's a very high standard, and they're doing it for the right reasons. And that signal is the way to know whether you're enriching lives as an individual, and it's to know whether you want to invest in a company, because it indicates this flywheel is going of customers coming back for more and bringing their friends, which is the true driver of economic prosperity.
You know, one of the things that you've done as well, I think in the last book, Winning on Purpose, you actually call out that you've actually created an internal investment fund that actually invests in high NPS companies because they dramatically outperform companies on a financial basis than the non-customer loyalty measuring organizations.
It's true. You know, when I came to speak here, I flew on my private jet, and it was those investments in companies who had the highest net promoter score that funded that conspicuous consumption. I show in the book the companies that had the highest net promoter score in their industry returned over the decade after that book was written 5 times the S&P 500. It's way better than Warren Buffett, better than private equity funds. And it's sort of hard to believe, but you go back to this simple idea. Wait, we have a proprietary, sort of a unique insight of watching which company is best at getting customers to come back for more and bring their friends, and that drives future growth and prosperity. And accountants don't measure that. Investors don't get audited data that makes that clear. So in some ways, it's a secret advantage.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, at the end of the day, I'm an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur, you're in the field. And when you're an entrepreneur and you're dealing with a small number of customers, your whole business is around creating a wow experience. Everybody agrees with that, right? And so when your organization grows, if you start to build a real estate team, you start to build a revenue share organization, you're building another business, whatever that other business is, and you start to have employees, and it gets bigger and bigger, and you're professionalizing the company. And I say that, really with some, it's a necessary need to professionalize the company, but a lot of times those people that you professionalize it with come with a playbook of professionalizing means optimizing the profit and loss statement. And so then you go, well, maybe now you're no longer sort of high touch, you're really sort of profit maximization. And if you're an entrepreneur, it'll drive you freaking nuts. I can tell you that because I've had to work through that. And I actually think my most important job at eXp is to make sure that the professionalization doesn't get in the way of the personalization. And so that's where I continue to sort of focus my time and attention. Patrick, you were, was this the first time you were exposed to NPS? Or?
Yeah, well, no. 10 months ago, I was a CTO, and right before that, I was running product strategy. And when you first mentioned the conversation around NPS here at eXp, I was thinking, I get it. I know we send survey out. We try to get a 8, 7, or 9 or 10. And you just asked me, please read the books. And I read the books, and my response to Glenn was, I read the first book, 2.0, and I told Glenn, I need to go run around the block and celebrate, because it all started coming together and trying to truly understand what the intent was. And I tell my team that this is, you've given us the playbook. All we have to do is execute against that. And the survey feedback that's coming in from all of you, me and the rest of the leadership team, we're reading those comments. I read every morning, I read the comments that you posted the day before. And one of the big things that I got out of the book was trying to truly understand the categories of the numerical scale. And it made it super clear to me that when you, the agents, give us a 0 through 6, it means we missed your expectations. And when you give us a 7 and 8, we did our job. And when you give us a 9 or 10, we did something that was unexpected, something that was a surprise to you. And that 9 and 10, that's the promoter. We're not here just to do our job. We're after the 9 and 10. And I told my team, I can't even tell you what it is that you need to do to get a 9 or 10. You will know in that moment, and that you are authorized to go and get that promoter and make that decision. And that's just one example, right, of what we've learned from the book. The other thing, if I may, we've implemented a few other things directly from the book because it's the playbook. And another one was, if you get a rating between a 0 and 6, and many of you hopefully have experienced this, I've asked my team that within 48 hours, let's close the loop and come back and talk to you about why you gave us a 0 through 6 so that we could truly understand what it is that we can improve on and then how we potentially could create a promoter out of you in the future. And I'll give you a couple examples. Icon. So we started seeing a theme around the icon, some of the frustration challenges, some of the ideas that were coming in on what you thought next level might be within the program. So then we take that information, those themes, and then we start going out to workplace. Glenn, many of you, if you're icons, he created a workplace chat, a survey. We look at the survey, we get along with my team to figure out what we could do with that. And some of the recent changes, you wanted to be able to vest faster. We did that. You wanted to be able to get more points so that you could get your cultural awards faster and easier. We did that. It's all coming in. Another example is you were highlighting challenges and frustration with, I don't know who to go to for what. Or, you know, I'm out in my car, I'm showing homes, I'm in the field, I'm not at my laptop. Can I please talk to somebody on a telephone? So we just recently launched the Expert Care Desk. And we have a desk for, thank you. And I am measuring everything to figure out what the experience is. We want to understand what are the experiences that we're producing. But the point here is that we are listening. And over the last few days, I've been asking a lot of questions about expert care, the ICON program, and just the survey in itself. And there's a theme that I heard over the last few days. Well, I don't participate in the survey because you're doing awesome as a team. And shout out to my team for getting those type of feedback responses. But My request to you is that even if it is a 9 or 10 and you are happy, please give that feedback, because I am constantly testing and learning. And when I see a 9 and 10 coming in, it lets me know that we are moving in the right direction, and then I can refocus on what's next.
Yeah, and mention names. Name names, departments. When you're the 9 and 10 men should mean, I feel like my life has been enriched, and a great way to say thank you is to make sure you give a shout out to the people who've created that experience for you. Because for them, it's probably the biggest bonus they get at headquarters.
In fact, you originally had a different name than Net Promoter Score.
Yeah, I thought it was too impractical, but I was going to call it Net Lives Enriched, because it comes from this philosophy of golden rule, love thy neighbor as thyself, treat people the way you'd want a loved one treated. When you do that, you've enriched a life. And I think this notion that, I want to make the world a better place, well, let's stop just making that words. Let's measure it. How would you measure it? Well, 0 through 10. If you get a 9 or a 10, you probably enriched a life, and 0 through 6, you diminished a life. And I think keeping track of that through the years helps keep you on the right path toward leading the right kind of life.
So maybe for the audience, maybe you can describe, how does NPS get calculated? What's the, you can go from negative 100 to a positive 100, which seems, so you can actually be below 0.
Oh, and lots of industries, lots of companies are.
Cable companies, maybe?
Cables are negative. A lot of health insurance companies are negative. I care more about this. The fundamental building block is 0 through 10. It doesn't ask, it says how likely to recommend this to a friend, but what it's really getting at is have I treated you in a way that enriched your life so impressively that you want to share that with a loved one? But yeah, it gets into more practical 0 through 10, but then 9s and 10s are promoters, the assets, 0 through 6, the detractors, so you get a liability or asset balance sheet. Now, Net Promoter Score is just a summary statistic. It takes the percentage of people who you touch who are 9s and 10s, and subtracts the percentage of customers you touched who were 0s through 6s. And you're right, that mathematically goes from minus 100, which was everybody I touched, you wrecked their life. Businesses don't stay in business long at that level, all the way to the positive 100, where every single life you touched was referring friends.
So what companies, are there companies like real estate that have done a really good job in using NPS and that people would recognize, and companies that have really sort of hit it out of the park?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we've done at Bain & Company is we've seen how hard it is to measure Net Promoter Score in a really scientific, rigorous fashion. So you have apples to apples comparisons across different players in the industry. Now a lot of individual companies will be sending Net Promoter surveys out, and they look at their scores and they report them to investors, but those just aren't comparable. Sample bias, response bias, if you ever went to school in statistics, you'd see it's just garbage. But when you do it carefully, double-blind research, you can find out who's best. And who's best in electronics is Apple. Apple, and it's not just that they're innovative and cool products. At the core, Apple's committed to enriching the lives of their customers. That is their purpose, it's their mission, it's written everywhere. And the reason they chose Net Promoter as a way of running their business is because it aligns so nicely with making that purpose come true. So they are the best in that industry, but Chick-fil-A is dominant in fast food. It's very different than real estate, but there's some similarities there. And I think this idea that the reason headquarters exists at Chick-fil-A is to help their store managers prosper. And they do. The store managers there probably earn 3, 4, 5, 10 times what you would make in that same position if you were working at McDonald's or Burger King. And it's a philosophy. We as leaders are happiest when we can inspire our teams to enrich the lives of their customers. And we can do that better if we set up technologies and measurements and processes of feedback that makes that as crystal clear to the world as our accounting does make the financials crystal clear to our world. You know, right now, the reason the world over samples on or focuses on accounting, because we do it well, and you audit it, and you go to jail if you cheat. We don't have that kind of rigor yet on the customer feedback, and I think you're pioneering the ways that you can actually make that the central measure of success for the business.
So if you were designing a real estate brokerage and you were wanting to use NPS as a center point, what would you think about a slogan then to be the most agent-centric real estate brokerage on the planet?
Would that be the purpose? NPS?
I'd go a step before. I know this is going to wreck your brand image, but I'd say we love our agents is what I would have as our purpose.
Awesome. And we do.
I have to say that I think I have the coolest job on the planet, because the only expectation of me from Glenn is that I wake up every day to make you happy.
Well, I think that's what love is. When your happiness is based on the happiness of the other person, that's a loving relationship.
I have worked, in my opinion, for some really key brand organizations in their vertical for many, many years. And I'm talking big companies that do great things. And I've never been in an environment where we sit in a room trying to think about how to make you happy and put things together that allow you to do more, better, faster. We never sit in a room and talk about P&L. We never sit in a room and talk about what's going to happen on the next earning call. And I've been an officer before at many companies, and all we do is sit in a room thinking about the next earning call. How do you get the stock? How are you going to do this? And in your book, you talk about these fees, these executives that get in the room and they try to figure out how can we extract more from our customers. And you have all kinds of examples of this at the bank and others. And that's not us. And it's phenomenal to be in an environment that's all I have to do is figure out how to help you win and do more.
And I hope you appreciate how different that is from a normal business. Because a typical organization, a large company, their smartest minds, their highest paid people are trying to figure out how they can extract more from their customers' wallets, as opposed to how we can make our customers so happy they refer their friends. And it's a backwards situation. And for you, I think it's a huge advantage. Probably explains why you've been able to do what you've been able to accomplish.
One thing I made an observation in the back talking with someone, and then further we talked a little bit about at least one of the companies that you profiled in the book, we actually, when we look at our agent base at large, we have, when we think about both production on the real estate sales side and also the revenue sharing side, we have probably in the dozens of, and I say that plural, dozens of agents that earn more than the top earning executive, that being me, but that being which is okay. But I'm paid through the revenue sharing system as well. But we've got many people who earn more, and I want everybody to out earn me, which is kind of a crazy thing to think about, because I'm thinking about legacy, not sort of net in my pocket.
And that, by the way, that's a signal I look for in finding a special company that I want to include in the next book. Enterprise Rent-A-Car was the first company I ever wrote about. They built this from a tiny leasing business in St. Louis, Missouri, to the largest car rental company on earth as a private firm. So they didn't need funny money. They just generated cash the old-fashioned way. And Andy Taylor, the founder, said, yeah, we have a hard time getting people to come to headquarters because they know they'll make much more money out there in our system. And he, too, had at least half a dozen people that earned more than the CEO of the company. it's a signal of humility that headquarters doesn't exist for its own benefit. It exists to help the field prosper.
Awesome.
I know it's a virtual headquarters.
It's a virtual headquarters, yeah. So I get to live where I want to live, so that's good. First of all, I want to again shout out to Patrick. You know, Patrick specifically and the team at large that he's been able to galvanize and sort of help others actually get more ingrained in this agent-centric mindset in various different roles, even roles and organizations that don't directly report into him, into really making this a reality. And it's something I've been preaching. And you've been here for multiple years. You've heard me talk about NPS. It's in we put it in our financial reporting on the, you look at our press releases, and I made sure, because even in the Ultimate Question 2.0, you talked about that same thing. You know, if you don't make it a reportable metric that, investors see, then they won't actually understand the value of it. And I will often point even investors that want us to, and by the way, I get this asked all the time, when are you going to raise fees and when are you going to raise caps? And I'm like, never. Like that's, because at the end of the day, that doesn't build true legacy. True legacy is about, affecting multiple generations of agents and changing the trajectory of their lives, and not have, this industry, as you probably know, real estate agents historically have not had the benefits of retirement programs, health insurance, or a whole number of things that's available to typical corporate America, and especially the sort of your upper echelon corporate America. And but agents go out there because it's a way to make a living, and in a lot of cases a great living. And then once you start to get into it, it's a business where you make a great paycheck a lot of times from the commissions, but there's a lot more emotional toll that agents take on than most people realize. And one of them is the financial stress of having to look for the next deal. It's the stress of not having health coverage. It's the stress around who do you learn from and who do you collaborate with. And if you're an individual agent, the competition sometimes overrides what we call co-opetition or cooperation. And so these are all fundamental things that I saw just as an agent myself. And, but I was also, as you heard, and you know me, I'd rather be a struggling entrepreneur than than someone that, has a high-paying job. That's just how I think about it. And I think about the impact, the Stephen Covey, begin with the end in mind. I always go back to what is it that I want? And I get distracted, by the way. I'm like everybody else. Money is fun to look at, and it's fun to imagine having a whole bunch of it in your bank account, which technically I do, but I digress. The idea is really about the long-term legacy impact, and that's the thing that I keep on coming back to, and I think that's the message that I want to get across. The other piece, and I want to get back obviously to Fred here, is that each one of you can take this tool that Fred refined and articulated. It's open source, by the way. You don't go to somewhere and pay for it. It's literally built into almost every tool that's available, from Google Forms to SurveyMonkey to a whole bunch of other stuff that you can basically get for free, almost free, or literally just have your assistant send a note to a client or call somebody, hey, I just want to find out, on a scale of 0 to 10, how did we do? Would you refer a friend or your colleague? I mean, what a great way to get a referral. I mean, you can use it as an income-producing device. On a scale of 0 to 10, how likely would you refer a friend or colleague? Give us a 9 or a 10? Do you have anybody? So, I mean, it could be a great tool, but it's an amazing way to actually take something, the mind of an entrepreneur, and I think about it this way. It's a tool that takes the mindset of an entrepreneur, somebody who cares deeply about the individual end customer, which every one of you in the room that's an agent, you are an entrepreneur, and it puts it in the hands of a lot of people who normally are hired to just follow the rules and give them permission to actually create a wow experience. And so that's a really, it's an empowering tool when you think about it. It's not measuring it to fire people. It's a measurement to help people deliver a better experience.
Yeah, and it keeps asking it with a frequency that keeps it top of mind, and I hope you'll do it in your own organizations, but you want everyone who's touching customers to think about, I don't want to just sell this customer and get a deal closed. I want to do it in a fashion that makes that customer refer me to 2 of their friends or colleagues, and that's how you build a great business. So it keeps you focused on, I mean, I've talked about enriching lives. It seems a little bit too high-minded, but it's the core of what you want everyone who's touching your customers to be thinking is, how could I do such an impressive job with them that they'll not only be happy, they'll feel compelled to tell others about it.
You know, one more place I'm thinking about this. How many of you are focused on or spending at least 20 to 30% of your time on building your rev share organization? Okay, so a good percentage of the room. I would even encourage you to ask this of the people who are in your organization based on the value you're bringing to them. And I mean that in all sincerity, because one of the things that we deal with even on the company side is we will have people who will sponsor people in and just expect the company to do everything for them. And then we're saying, my sponsor never follows up with me, my sponsor never does this, never does that. And it's not, we don't really want to play, sort of the role of sort of judging where you're at relative to the people you've brought in. So we don't measure that per se, but it does show up on our surveys. Like, it does show up that I'm not getting support from my upline and that type of thing. And it's also a tool that helps you as an individual leader become a better leader. Most of us don't know what we don't know, but this is a tool that can allow you to understand more of what you don't know, so you can actually start to work on it. If you start to see that if you survey your group, and maybe it's somebody 2 or 3 levels down from you, and you survey the group and at a large, you can see where you can plug holes, because it will give you advance notice of people in your own organization that may be thinking about leaving because they're not getting the support, they're not getting the hand-holding, they're not getting connected to the right places in the company. Maybe they're lost and they haven't even answered maybe our survey, so we aren't able to reach out to them. But ask the people that are in your organization the same question. On a scale of 0 to 10, how likely would you refer me as a sponsor of somebody that would want to join eXp or be in the upline? Come up with some version of it and start measuring that, because at the end of the day, this is a tool about actually enhancing your ability to be better leaders.
Yeah, you might even ask them, how likely is you to recommend our team as a great place to work or a great team to work with? That at Bain & Company, where I've worked for many, many years, has been number 1 or 2 in Glassdoor for a long, long time. And somebody at Bain who was real smart did all the analysis, and they figured out, what's the one question that really explains whether someone is happy in their job and would refer this as a great place to work? And it came down to whether they felt like they were a valued member of a winning team. And think about that. If you can put your people in a position where they feel like they're valued, playing an important role in a team that's winning with its customers, that's the key. And most businesses get busy and they don't have a process of measuring and getting feedback. And I think it's not just a score, it's the verbatim comment. And Patrick and I were talking, my daughter Jenny convinced me there should actually be a second question in a lot of surveys, maybe in yours. The question is, even for people who are very happy and might give you a 9 or a 10, is there anything we could be doing to make this an even better experience?
Yep.
And your best people who are giving you the best scores probably are the most thoughtful about coming up with ways to help you improve. And getting the right rhythm in that Jenny question is a very, very smart and practical thing to do.
Yeah, we just implemented the Jenny question probably 2 months ago, and it's probably one of the most powerful components. It's some really good information coming in through the comments.
And the Jenny question, of course, is named after your daughter because
She taught, all these years.
The perfect model.
My daughter ran customer service and feedback for Total Wine and More. It's a retailer, big retailer of liquor and spirits. And she said, Dad, I know you've been dealing with this question creep problem. Everyone was turning my Net Promoter Survey into a 30-question market research system. It's just ridiculous. And then she said, but Dad, I know you're going to not like this, but I've got a second question I'm asking our customers at Total. And after I blew up at the dinner table and got calmed down, and then she explained she had data, just evidence that was a very smart thing to do, because she was getting insights from those customers that otherwise was lost. That it was, if you ask one question, you say, you get a 10, and it's Jared at the register at the checkout just did a wonderful job, and I want to thank him. And that's where it stops, which is good. You can tell Jared, you get a standing ovation at the weekly staff huddle. But then if you ask that same customer, is there anything else we could have done better? Well, then you learn things about, well, the light was out in the back parking lot and I don't feel comfortable at night, or gee, we were out of my favorite craft beer and it's Father's Day, my husband loves this and you were out of it. So it opens up an opportunity for the store manager who reads this answer to the Jenny question. They can call the customer and say, we have that beer, I put it aside at the service desk, so we're not going to be sold out, stop by. And it opens up these opportunities to delight. And I'm convinced, I think the standard Net Promoter survey should probably have the Jenny question incorporated.
And I do get a kick out of those of you that ask for free donuts.
No, and it's really, I think it's a great question, because how many of us are programmed to give 9s and 10s and just move on?
Yeah.
And yet we have some critical feedback in the back of our mind that, if asked in a way that's non-threatening, would actually give the feedback that actually would allow us to improve. And I think that's what we're finding, is that we're getting good, same and sometimes better feedback in some cases from our 9s and 10s, or people who are promoters that feel good about the company. They're actually thinking more about the positivity. Of course, and we get good scores. I mean, we're at least we believe they're good scores. We aren't really measuring against other companies, that's part of the exercise. But we're typically in the 70, 71, 72. I think you said you had an 84 in an area where it's dramatically improved recently. Yeah. But asking that one additional question, what more can we do to wow you at eXp? That's a great way to get that extra data in.
Yeah, and the companies who have used Net Promoter effectively and have really created enormous growth through customers coming back for more and bringing their friends. Classic example would be Starbucks or Chick-fil-A. They tell me most of their innovations come from the field. That awesome holiday milkshake they have at Chick-fil-A that's got peppermint in it, that came from the field. The Frappuccino at Starbucks, that came from the field. So, think of all of the brains who are close to the ultimate customers doing business every day. You're the ones that are going to have the ideas that keep this community prospering.
I mean, who wanted to be paid faster? I read those comments, and we came up with a program called Express Pay within 24 hours. And the NPS that Glenn was alluding to, in Canada specifically, we were getting a 54 NPS score, and today we're getting 80s.
And just to put this in a context, in Canada, at least in Ontario specifically, it's a really convoluted process to get paid. It goes to a solicitor, a lawyer. Yep. They then mail their check on their time to the company. It could take a week or 2 weeks before it comes to the company, and then the company then pays the agent. And however, I asked the question, how often do we not get paid? And it's almost never that we don't get paid. So I said, well, why don't we just pay immediately upon a notification of closing, as opposed to waiting for us to get paid? Because we can wait for the money, the agent can't. Yeah. And as far as I know, we're the only company in Ontario, maybe in all of Canada, that does that.
Yeah.
So.
That's another signal that you're working with a very special company. It's true.
Thank you.
So that's the end of our time. Really thank you, Fred, for dinner last night. Thank you for spending some time with our staff earlier today. Did everybody enjoy this? Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
Very much.
Thank you to Fred, Glenn, and Patrick. Now, eXp family, let's give it up for two of your own, Julie Swain and Michael Dugal.
Hey everyone, how you doing? Are you enjoying this? Michael, did you hear that? I asked you, are you enjoying this? Come on, it's the last day, we're going to Universal. Are you enjoying this? Awesome. Okay, Michael and I are so thrilled to be here and present the next panel, which is one that we're both passionate about, taking your social media to the next level. So Michael, share.
Man, and to think that social media is free. With one post, you're able to be in front of all of your prospective clients. And guys, you can do this every single day. We know it's not uncomfortable. I mean, it's not comfortable, but we also know that the growth happens outside of our comfort zone. And that starts right now. So take out your phones, be posting, show people that you're at this event. You're here to improve yourself. You're seeking further education. You're collaborating with the best people. Social media allows you to have the chance to build your authority. So if you're not posting actively on social, you're spending too much time prospecting, more time than you need to, or you're relying on buying leads. Don't be the secret real estate agent.
Wait, say that again.
Don't be the secret real estate agent. People don't want to be looking at your social media feed and saying, oh, this guy hasn't posted in a month. Are they still active?
Right.
Maybe they're on vacation.
Maybe they're on MySpace.
MySpace.
I don't know. So, you know who isn't a secret agent?
Tell me, who's?
The next group of people that we get to introduce on stage, and we are so excited to be able to do this for you. So let's bring out the next panel. Please join us in welcoming moderator and eXp Realty agent Levi Lassick and panelists Gogo Bethke, Ricky Caruth, Claudianne Hibbert, and Amy Gregory.
Come on, guys, get up. Okay.
It's a blur.
All right. Well, I've done a lot of these speaking events lately, and I don't know if I'm nervous or it's just freezing cold in here. Also, does everybody feel like a bunch of cats with the badges around there, you know, like bells ringing all the time? You hear that? Okay, all right, let me get some questions out. Really amazing opportunity to spend some time with these entrepreneurs here and social media rock stars. So let's just get started. And let me ask you, Claudianne, what strategy have you seen grow your main platform the most?
So my main platform is Instagram, and for me, being very authentic, documenting the process, documenting my journey. And so for me, the documentation and being authentic and not really missing anything of my journey has been a strategy that has worked for me.
Awesome. Gogo, how are you today?
I am wonderful.
Great to see you.
Hi, guys.
All right, so what's the main strategy that you've seen grown your social media platform?
When I lost my front tooth. Honesty, it comes back to the honesty. No joke, I got the most followers and the most authentic comments and DMs when I showed you guys I didn't have a front tooth for 8 months. So if you can show them the truth and truly that you're vulnerable, that you're not, we are all just the next human, right? And when you allow them to get to know you, they'll find something in common with you, they will follow you for life.
Amazing. Amy, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, so same question. You know, what strategy have you seen grown your main platform the most, and what's your main platform?
My main platform is Instagram, and the number one thing I always tell agents when they're using Instagram is to only talk to one person. A lot of times we think, oh, I want to do every transaction. I want to work with every buyer, every seller, and that's not really true. I'd say you don't want to be Walmart, you want to be Gucci. I don't have something for everyone at a price they can afford. I target one person, I only talk to one person. on my platform, and that's given me a really high ROI. And then also it allows you to systemize things because you're doing the same transaction again and again and again.
Very good. Ricky, my man, how are you?
What's up, bud?
Good. So what strategy have you seen grow on your platform?
Hey, first off, I'm happy to be here. It's a true honor. Can you guys make some noise real quick? Woo! That was pretty good. Let's get a little louder. Okay, cool. Now, it's good to be here. I've been in real estate since 2002. I've been on social since 2017. What's my main platform? I don't know. But let's talk about Instagram for a second and really just social media in general. I think that if you're going to win on social media, you're going to be consistent. And if you're consistent long enough, you're going to reinvent yourself over and over and over again. Who I was in 2017 is not who I am now on social. So you're going to get better as you go. But to give you guys some tactical, here lately I reinvented myself. And what I realized is that a lot of people out there, number one, you got to be real, like Gogo says. But what I'm realizing is a lot of people on social are telling you what to do, but they're not telling you how to do it. You know, you guys should buy a house. Okay, you guys should be saying, you should buy a house, and here's how you buy a house. You should invest in real estate, here's how. Right? If you want to reach more agents, you should get more listings. Okay? How? So I think the next stage of social media and the internet is more on not just what to do, but how to do it. And if you think in terms like that when you're creating content, I've at least found a lot more engagement when I'm telling people how to do the things that I'm telling them that they should do.
Very good. Well, I was going to say something very similar, which is no matter how many times I read the story about the tortoise and the hare, the tortoise always wins, and that's slow and steady wins the race. So consistency is very key, and I believe that's really what I've seen. I mean, my specialty is YouTube, and there's a lot of data and analytics in the back end, and a lot of people can get caught up in that. But the reality is that it really comes down to consistency. I mean, we've experimented with a lot of different things back and forth, and you can do that, but at the same time, it's really just the consistency and making a plan and put that in place and really studying and learning the platform. I love to say you can hyper-learn any subject in 60 days. So if you pick that one platform, learn everything you can about that, go all in, and become a student of that platform, and I think you'll do very well.
I agree.
All right, so let's go on to the second question here. What is your plan for the rest of the year in this uncertain market? It seems like every other day interest rates are changing, and there's just a lot of information out there, some true, some not, and so people are looking to social media for answers. So what would you implement in your business for the rest of the year? Is there anything you're going to do differently this year on your social media?
And so I like that you said that people are looking for answers. So one thing I would strongly encourage, which I already do, is to have a call to action. A lot of people are just posting, but you're not telling people what to do or where to go. And so I'm always click the link in my bio, DM me this, below, drop some fires. And so for social media, since that's what we're talking about, if I was posting 3 times, I'm now going to 10x it and go 6 times. I'm gonna go live more. I'm gonna get out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna 10x my live. I'm going to tell people more what to do. You just mentioned it, Ricky. So, giving that call to action, and you should really write that down. And I see a lot of people just posting, but there is no call to action. And so making sure I'm intentional on giving people instructions on what to do. So you're ready to buy a house? Well, click the link here, and we're going to show you how. And so what I'm doing, 10xing it. Just 10xing it. Going to work the smarter way, not putting in a lot more work, but working smarter, not harder.
Absolutely. That's something we did last year as well. Whenever the market, we saw a big shift, we doubled down on content because we know people are out there looking still to buy and sell homes.
Yeah.
So Gogo, is there anything you're going to do differently this year or implement on your social media?
Well, number one, stop watching the news. I live in my little bubble. I don't really know half the time what's going on in the world. But when you're doing social media, make sure you're not doing it on a personal page, right? So if you're doing social media, that is your business. Just like if cold calling your business or farming or door knocking, take it seriously. Don't do business on a personal page. So when you do it on a business page, you get what's called an algorithm, right? You get to log in and see what happens when I post this. Sometimes you feel like, oh, this is the best post I've ever made, and you have 2 likes. And you're like, okay, clearly the world sees something different, right? When you have an algorithm, log back every day in the end of the day and see what happens. How many people liked it? How many people commented? Did it perform well? If it didn't, stop doing that and do something else. So social media, when you log in, it will show you everything you need to know and handle it as a business.
Very good. So Amy, and you, anything you're going to do differently this year?
Oh, I love a market shift because then I can just double down. Because market shifts and people quit, and it's like, great, I'm positioned to win. I'm going to go and take market share, right? Going on what Gogo said though is like, if you are not checking like your data and you're not running like KPIs and keeping track of how many followers and what content is performing the best, you will never find a good rhythm of what to post. Like, so often people say, well, I don't know what to post. Instagram will tell you what to post if you go and look at your analytics and your insights, and it's more of a science, it's not really an art. So put that in a spreadsheet and you say, oh great, everyone's talking about interest rates, and I can do like what Ricky said and say, well, I can tell you how to like circumvent that or how to make that work for you. And so I think if you're not looking at your insights or analytics at least once a week, it'll be hard to gain traction on the apps.
Very good. Ricky, anything you're going to do differently this year?
Not really. I think that, you know, when we see shifts like this, at least I feel like people are posting less, honestly. And that's a huge opportunity for market share, right? To increase volume of content, create more, but also get better at your content. I think education is kind of what I've leaned into as the market has shifted. I've started to do more of the green screen reels, showing the article in the background, to really try to combat the negativity of the media that's really scaring the consumers. And the consumers don't even realize the facts because it seems like the media doesn't want the consumers to understand the real facts. I still really haven't seen much of the real actual facts. Like, for example, prices are up over the last 60 days. All we hear is prices are down year over year for the first time in 12 years. But prices are up over the last 60, 90 days. In just about every market, we're positive on the year. That's the kind of stuff we need to be sharing on social media, the real data. That's what I'm going to continue to do, is just try to educate not only the consumers, but the real estate agents to go educate their consumers so that we can continue to spread the message that we're in a great market, and if you're sitting on the sidelines, that could actually be a big mistake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead, clap it up.
That's all I had to do.
All right, and if you want to grow, I think, on YouTube, so make sure you write this down. This is going to be a very important strategy if you want to succeed in 2023 on YouTube. On every single thumbnail, add fire.
Every thumbnail, add fire.
Fire,
Hey,
yes.
An emoji will change your life.
Fire,
gotta add fire. So, you know, and that's what, just as Ricky said, you're going to see a lot of negativity out there. Now, the thing is that you want to think about your thumbnails are very important. I mean, we're visual creatures. You can process an image in 0.7 of a second. When people open up something like YouTube, it's very visual. So thumbnails are going to capture people's attention. That's usually the thumbnail, and then they look at the title and go from there. So I've adopted this and learning from all these greats up here, and what really stuck out to me is, like Ricky mentioned, in the ups and downs of your career, one thing you knew is that people buy and sell homes every single day regardless. And so for us, that made me think about keeping our message and our strategy positive, and talking about the same things, still going out, still showing people the neighborhoods and the suburbs, and also talking about stories of the clients we are helping. You know, just in the last 5 days, our team put 7 deals under contract. So finding out what's the story with each one of those clients, why did they decide to buy or sell right now, relay those stories, because somebody can relate to that, and it may make them feel a little bit more comfortable. And we're seeing right now, I believe, a lot of people are kind of over the interest rate thing, They're coming out and they're just saying, you know what, I see what's still happening. Prices are going up, and the savvy ones are still making moves, and people have to move sometimes. Sometimes it's a job transfer or a life change. You know, those occurrences happen every single day. So we've just stayed positive because we want to capture the people that are intentional and they're looking in this current market. So we're coming down to our final minutes here. You want to add to that, Ricky?
Raise your hand if you're not doing social media. Y'all are lying.
Good.
Y'all are the biggest liars.
Figured out.
There's a stat that only 10% of real estate agents are using social media to market themselves and to market their listings and so on and so forth.
Ricky,
right?
I think that's the 10%.
Oh.
They're all together.
I wanted to say
I'm
social media.
sorry. Okay, that's what it is. I can't see.
Yeah, I can't see.
So, yeah, listen, okay, for the 90% of you who aren't using social media, why not? That's the question you need to ask yourself. And it's going to come from fear of whatever. I don't know what it is, but you got to understand that this is a marathon. And if you will just start who you are today on social media, if you're making horrible videos, go make a bunch of horrible videos because they're going to get better. You have to do it. You have to start, or you will never get to the place where you're making great content.
Well, wasn't your first video horrible?
Oh my God.
Mine was horrible. It was horrible.
Horrible.
Horrible. But I think to your point, one of the great byproducts of posting on social media, so Ricky's recipe is he pulls up an article, he uses it as a green screen, and he like counteracts the article. He gives a varying perspective. So you have to kind of stake your fork in the ground of like, this is my position on this. But the amazing byproduct is that in doing that, you end up researching the market and you end up understanding it. So then when you're on listing appointments and you're talking to buyers and sellers, you're like, oh, I already know all the data because I went and researched the data and posted it on social media, and I've already like staked my position in the ground, and it attracts in the people that are like-minded to you, which means your transactions are way more fun.
Can I give credit? I brought these back, girls. Hopefully they're in the room. If you're eating Eden, probably, right? Sorry if I mispronounced that. Jeffrey girls, look at this. Does this look like social media marketing to you? It's not, it looks like physical marketing, right? But guess what they asked you in order to get a free bag? They asked you to follow me, right? So now they got 7,000 followers. I have no idea how much this costed you girls, but it was genius. And I just want you to know that there's a million ways how you can generate audience, right? You can pay for it if you have connections. Like, I wanted this bag after I saw everybody walking around with it, right? So find your way, run with it, plaster it everywhere, and have people follow you.
Mm-hmm. All right, give it up for these amazing social media real estate agents.
I had fun. Did y'all have fun? All right.
We had a good time. There you go. Give it up. That's our time.
Thank you to Levi and to our amazing panel. Now, everybody, want to direct your attention to the satellite stage and welcome eXp Realty agent Deanna Dobslov and eXp commercial agent Gabriel Lozada.
Gabriel and I are thrilled to be here today to present the next panel about a topic that is near and dear to both of us, and that topic is customer centricity. The reason this topic is so important to me is because as chairman of the eXp Military Network, the majority of my business focuses on military families. Customer centricity is vital when working with the military clients due to their unique circumstances, such as frequent relocations and limited time of house hunting. Providing personalized assistance and guiding them through the most complex financial aspects of their transaction helps us ensure a smooth and supportive transition for all of our military families. Gabriel, what about you?
Those are some great points, Deanna. For me, putting the customer first is my #1 priority. As a commercial agent, I'm always going to bat for my clients, working hard to get them the best deal possible. That's why I'm so excited for this next panel, hearing from all of these diverse agents about how they put their customers first will allow all of us to implement some great tips into our own business.
I couldn't have said it better, Gabriel. What do you say that we get this panel started? Please join me in welcoming our moderator and Senior Vice President of Agent Development, Curtis Dixon.
Along with eXp Realty agents Nolly Williams, Shannon Mulligan, Kunal Seth, and Dylan Nonaka.
Woo! What's up, family? You feeling excited?
All right. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, thank you to Gabriel, to Deanna, to everybody, to all of you for hanging in. Welcome to day 2. Glad you guys are here. We're going to need an interactive crowd, right? We want to be customer-centric panel as we hang out with this audience today. So here's what we're going to do. I've asked all of my panelists to keep their first couple answers really short and sweet. But what I need you to do to give us feedback is when you hear something exciting to you, you're like, I want to go deeper there. I want to know more on that subject. I need you to make some noise, all right? So let's practice real quick. Pretend Nolly just said something amazing. Make some noise. All right, well, all of our panelists are amazing, and I want to give you a chance to do more than just satisfy this audience. I want you to share with us, Nolly, you go first. Tell us how you treat your customers and clients in a remarkable way that goes beyond just satisfaction.
The big thing that I do for my customers and clients is I stay in touch with them. That's really what's going to make them realize and believe and know that you have them at the heart of your business. And that's what customer centricity is.
What's above and beyond what agents might think of as staying in touch? How do you do
I do it 18 touch.
18 touch.
18 touch. And so that's 2 e-newsletters, 2 phone calls, and 4 postcards a year. It's a system that I teach and train on.
18 touch.
18 touch.
All right. Thank you, Nolly. I love it. Shannon, what do you do or how do you approach your customers or clients in a way that goes above and beyond satisfaction?
Well, my philosophy is a servant heart leadership with a golden rule action.
Woo.
So I try to be the person that I would want to have representing me and really doing unto others.
Yeah.
I love it. And I know there's a way you're going to take us a little deeper there here in just a minute. So servant heart mentality with the golden rule action. I love it. Dylan, give us something remarkable about how you approach your customers and clients.
What we've been really focused on, especially in this shifting market, is trying to anticipate and serve clients before they even know they need it. And a couple of ways that we do that is one, I serve an island, right? And so people think it's small, but really it's 4 hours round trip. And we have the ability, because we have a team, to show a property within 45 minutes of really anywhere on the island. And so we try and provide that like one-click Amazon service that people expect that they need.
Wow.
And another real tactical thing, you guys, that we've been doing recently, which is huge, is unsolicited video tours. And so when we look in our KV core and we see somebody is clicking around and they will look at the same property 3 times, we'll call them and email them and text them. But if they don't respond, we just go out there, get a video tour, send them that video tour and say, hey, I saw you were looking at this property. Here's my take on it. Here's some highlights. 100% conversion rate, right? I mean, they're absolutely going to respond to you if you do that.
I bet that blows you away.
Yeah.
Woo! Amazon level service. I love it. Kunal, talk to us about what you do in a remarkable fashion that goes above and beyond for your customers and clients.
So for me, it starts off with first identifying who your customer is. And everything I do, I have a top-down approach, which is, for me, my first customer is the real estate industry. Then comes the state of Texas, where I live in. Then my local MLS of HAR. And then comes the final buyer and seller. I truly believe if I can add value to the industry at a top level, customer, whether it's buyer, seller, investor, they'll come to me. So on an ongoing basis, my mission in life is to add value to the industry and the market, and then the customer centricity goes to the next level.
I love it. I love it. And so hopefully for all of you in the audience here, what I want everybody thinking about as you guys are sharing your strategies and tips, I want you thinking about what Glenn and Fred and Patrick just talked about, because at the highest level, thinking about the customers and focusing on them first is what's going to transition your business to the place where you want it to be. So Dylan, it sounded like everybody was pretty excited about the Amazon level service and approach. Take us a little deeper, give us a little more tactically how you approach wowing those customers.
Another thing that's been working really well is video CMAs. So if we get a seller inquiry, we all run those leads where they do they want a property report or a property valuation report, and you can let the system send them an automated report that everybody else is going to do, or you can shoot a quick video and explain to them and tell them the why and the what and give them some of your opinion. And that's another way to really, on the seller side, convert at a high level, because you're sending them something that feels very personalized. You took the time out of your day to do that, and they see you as a real person, not just some bot sending them a property valuation that anybody can do.
Yeah. Make some noise if you're going to take that away and take it with you. Video CMAs, unprompted video tours. I absolutely love it, and I know that would wow people and blow them away. Shannon, I know you have a specific approach for how you wow your customers and clients throughout the entire journey. Take us a little bit into what you do.
So for example, if you were a buyer, I set the appointment with you, I send a handwritten note, and I know that's not very novel, but nobody's doing it.
That's right.
And then I meet you for the first tour, and I take this gift bag that has water and beef jerky and protein bars and some candy, and I put in there a score bar, and I write in there, can't wait to score you a house. And it just sets a different tone when you meet somebody and you give them a gift. It immediately puts them at ease. Then I get you under contract, and I have a local bakery send these cookies that say, isn't it sweet, you're now under contract. Then we get through inspections and an appraisal, and I go to Amazon, and I buy this packing gun tape, because even if you have movers, you're still packing up a few things of your own. And in there, you can put a little gift card through Amazon, and it says, congrats on getting through appraisal and inspections, it's time to get packing. And then finally, when you close, it's a really stressful time. So I send pizza through Papa John's, because you can order up to 21 days ahead. So at the final walkthrough, I ask you what day you're moving in, what time you would like pizza, how many pies you want, what soda you want. I go to the app, I order it for that day, I pay for the tip, I take a screenshot, text it to them, and say, here's your confirmation code.
Wow.
And it just creates an experience that when they're at a party, they say, oh, you're looking to buy a house? Let me tell you why you need to use our agent.
How many of you would want to buy and sell with Shannon?
Yeah, that's good.
That's beautiful. So I heard a couple things here, Nolly. I heard, some of our pros obsessing over the process and the experience, right? And then I also heard some simplification, right? Imagine being that consumer and you get the packing tape and you get the boxes and the pizza shows up. Just makes life simpler.
Absolutely.
So Nolly, what do you obsess over, or how do you approach simplifying your customers' lives?
The interesting thing for me, Curtis, is that my customers actually changed. And to Kunal's point, your customer can change over time. When I got into real estate, I took over 1,000 listings my first 10 years in the business.
Wow.
But what I found was that I really like to teach and train and coach. And so in 2014, I made a sharp turn and got into training and coaching. So really my customer now is my family, my eXp family, my real estate agents out there. And so what I'm doing is doing a lot of social media. I'm training. See, here's what sales is, and you guys already know this, but sales is finding out what people need and what they want and making it easy for them to get it. And so that's all I do. I get out there and I teach as much as I can. I pay it forward and I share my best ideas. And so that's really kind of been the bent of my, Ricky Caruso said it earlier, if you're not on social media right now, why aren't you? I was at an event just like this in 2009. A guy called me up. He said, Nolly Williams. And, they all knew me in town because I was a big producer. He said, man, why aren't you on YouTube? And it was a big thing about social media, YouTube. And I was very embarrassed, and I made all the excuses of why I wasn't on YouTube, whatever. But that night, I determined that I was going to start, and it was very scary. It was very scary. But now I'm there all the time, sharing everything I can so that our agents become as successful as possible.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to be brave enough to simplify the lives of your customers by taking the big step like Nolly took.
Social media, baby. YouTube. Let's do it.
So, Kunal, I was walking through the halls yesterday, and we were preparing for today's keynote speaker and our Fireside Chat with Glenn, talking about the Net Promoter System. And I think that the average small business owner may not have been as exposed to that Net Promoter System as, say, a visionary entrepreneur like Glenn, right? But Glenn's telling us it's important. eXp's been built on that premise. And today I heard Fred Reichheld talk about, he wanted to name the Net Promoter System actually Net Lives Enriched, because he knows that when you enrich the lives of others, everything else takes care of itself. So Kunal, I know you enrich so many lives across your community and really across the globe. Talk to us about your philosophy there with enriching lives and that vision of once you see who your customer is, how you make their life better.
Absolutely. So for me, it's not about prospecting one buyer, one seller, but more or less applying a business-to-business strategy. So when I was a brand new realtor in 2014, in the Houston market, we have a lot of developers and builders. And I wanted to get preferred status with them, which meant a buyer goes to a sales office, they want to buy a home, they have a home to sell, and they're not working with a realtor. I want to get the preferred status. Now, that was my ask. And if I went to the builders, they would have said, who the hell are you? I'm not going to make you preferred. So I had to come up with a strategic plan over the next 6 to 12 months, add tremendous value to these builders like Taylor Morrison Home, Darling Home, Meritage Home. The list is long. And within 12 months, my team was named as preferred realtor with these builders. And over the years, every year, my team earns hundreds of thousands of dollars referrals from them. Again, it starts off with who's your customer. If you're chasing a buyer and seller, you'll always be micro-focused. Get macro-focused. Look at the market. Join the MLS. Join different associations. Add value. What I love, Nolly, you said was, it's all about training, coaching, and mentorship.
That's right.
If you come across somebody who's adding value through training, coaching, mentorship, the buyers and sellers will come in hordes for you.
That's right.
Woo.
That's right.
I love that.
That's true.
Love that, Kunal. Thank you. Yeah, make some noise. If you want to go deeper, we're going where you want to go. So again, I want to go back to Dylan now and ask you to get into just a little bit of how you build these systems or what technologies you use or things that you do to make it easy for the agents on your team to do the right thing, right? Because it's pretty easy sometimes to forget to make a call, to forget to follow up, to not be responsive in 15 or 20 or 45 minutes. So what do you do to make it easy for your team to keep doing the right things to serve your customers?
One thing that's worked really well is just building redundancy into our system. And I've accepted the fact that a lot of realtors are going to drop the ball. As much as I love them, they're going to disappoint you as a leader sometimes. And one of the things that we've built into our system is I'm okay doing video, right? A lot of people are not.
Yeah.
And I've put out 300 videos over the last couple of years about buying real estate in Hawaii, which we all have a unique market. And it's not property tours or just sold or just listed kind of stuff. It's actually intelligent, educational content about the nuances of buying real estate in Hawaii. And we've turned that into basically an educational course. So if I get a cold lead online from Zillow or from KV Core or wherever, and they don't respond right away, for the next 3 years, they're going to get a video once a week, and it's repurposed content from something that I've already put together. And when that person, in our market, people start dreaming years in advance, right? I mean, there's no short turnaround for a buyer in our market. And it may take 18 months, but if they've gotten a video from me every single week for the last 18 months about something educational about Hawaii, who's the guy they're going to call when the time comes, right? It's a no-brainer. So that's one of the ways is kind of long time thinking about your conversion and what are you doing to not just convert right away, but what are you doing to get that 18-month, that 3-year conversion? 720 days is my longest conversion, right, from first contact to close, and that person bought a second house within the next 12 months. So you got to stay sticky with them.
Woo! I love that.
Yeah.
Love it, Dylan. All right, everybody. So I'm going to ask you now to take everything that you've done in your career, focused on your customers, think back, and I want you to look forward now with all that information in your head and your heart, and I want you to give this audience the top 2 things that you know generate referrals and repeat customers for you and your business. So Shannon, I'm going to let you start us off. What do you know generates referrals and repeat customers?
I love client events, and if you can do them quarterly, it's great. It's where you're shaking hands and hugging babies, and you get belly to belly and just break bread. And I've taught some classes on it in the university, so I think they've been recorded. You could go and check out. I give you an event for every month. And don't forget that our university is amazing. It's full of, chock full of things. And then setting up a system so that you can love on your people, like I talked about with the buyer system I have. And I also have one for sellers, and I'm happy to share that with you at another time if you find me. I'm happy to share what I do with the sellers, but really just getting down and saying, okay, what would I want if I were being served by a realtor, and then just reverse engineering it.
I love it. Nolly, what do you know brings people back time and time again?
Really, I'll say 2 things. Number one, well, you said 2 things, so I'll say 2.
Give us 2.
So number 1 is TOMA. You guys know what TOMA is, T-O-M-A. That's top of mind awareness. You know, your clients and customers should have you at the very top of their mind. And there's a reason, Curtis, why, according to National Association of Realtors, these are statistics, 86% of people say that they would use the same realtor again, but around 11% do. And the reason for that disconnect is because we just don't stay in touch with them. And I know I train and coach agents all the time. We don't stay in touch. So number 1, you have to have top of mind awareness. You get that by staying in touch. And the system that I created only takes a couple of hours a week, and the 18 touch. And then the second thing I'll say is become an influencer. You know, this is the last thing I would have thought of when I started teaching, training, coaching. My clients would see me on stages, on YouTube, and they would say, wow, now we know we want to list with you because you're the one that teaches all the other agents how to be successful. And so you want to become the local celebrity, very, very important. And you might not think that that's customer-centric, but it really is because it shortens the curve of them liking and trusting you.
Woo, Nolly, I love that. Thank you. Kunal, I'm going to let you take us out here.
So for me, it's all about, yes, you can provide great services, but staying in front of your clients is the most important thing. And over here, we are a virtual real estate company, but in-person conferences brings another level of excitement with us. So I truly believe in having in-person events, happy hours, networking events with the existing clients and potential future clients. An organic setup where you have on a monthly basis or weekly basis brings people in with a happy state of mind. And they're more likely to engage with you and give you more business. So while we are a virtual company, do your transactions on Skyslope, all of those things, but in-person interaction with your clients is imperative. Do that on a regular basis, spend some money, and make some people happy.
eXp family, if you want your clients to think of you like you think of Amazon, take these words of wisdom and put them to work. Thank you, panelists. You were amazing.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
eXp family, let's do it.
That was great.
Did everybody get some good notes? Yeah. All right, awesome. So what we've got coming up next, you guys gotta really get ready for how we're gonna close out this afternoon. We've got Julie Nelson and Al Stasik to tell you what's coming up next.
Hey, eXp. They asked Al and I to present together today because we have the same barber.
We all know who wears it better, though, right? Right? So I hope everyone's having an amazing shareholders. This is my 5th shareholders, and I love coming here. And they asked me to talk about a little bit of our takeaways. And I can just tell you, for me personally, the enthusiasm that I see from all of you, not just the speakers, I'll tell you, the 30 under 30 rock stars. I love seeing the youth coming and replacing us. Am I allowed to say old people? We're not that. We're like...
Keep going.
Yeah, okay.
Going.
But then, Ed Milet, the young agents coming up, and the enthusiasm gives me that day one mentality, and I believe we need to keep that day one mentality from now and every single year, and this just recharges me, so I'm so pumped.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So a couple things come to mind for me. New connections. Who made a new connection or 2 or 3? Raise your hand. Yeah. Yes or yes? Yes. The other thing, and tell me if this resonates with you, but some encouragement to think bigger. Encouragement to think bigger. So keep coming to these events. It's like I want some of that dopamine with that encouragement every time. So it's been awesome.
So who are we here to see here?
Let's see.
Next?
Well, I'm especially excited about this next speaker and what she brings to the table. She's a rare talent who transitioned from working for 2 decades as a senior chemical engineer in Procter & Gamble's R&D department to a noted expert and consultant in helping organizations navigate change.
So eXp, I want everyone to get up on your feet.
On your feet.
Please get on your feet, and let's give our next keynote speaker, founder of the Change Enthusiasm Strategy. Talk about enthusiasm, right? Let's show her that eXp has the biggest enthusiastic group in the planet, okay? Let's give it up for Cassandra Worthy, everybody.
It's a great, great day. It's a good day.
Yes. Good afternoon. Yes. Good afternoon. Yes. Okay. What up, eXp rock stars? What it do? What it do? Oh my goodness, you all. I'm so excited. I'm so honored and truly just grateful to be here with all of you in this gorgeous space, this location, seeing your faces and your smiles. I'm just gonna keep it real, okay? Nowadays, given everything that we've been through, everything that we've endured, whenever my feet can hit a physical stage in front of an actual physical in-person audience, I just don't know what to do. I just get so excited. Yes, which y'all can probably feel me, right? Nowadays,
when you're in person, especially with large groups like this, meeting face to face, not through a screen, feeling that authentic connection, that energy, probably gets you hyped, right? Makes you feel good, yeah? Yeah? All right. About 12 of y'all are hyped. The rest of y'all are not quite there yet, and that's okay. What I actually want to do to start is go through a 2-part hype session, okay, Cassandra style, okay? Now, for those of y'all looking at me concerned and worried right now, just don't be worried, okay? Everything's fine. Everyone's going to be able to do this. But for this first part, I'd like everybody to stand up if you're able. If you're differently able, no worries. You can do this from where you sit. Make sure your hands are free. Put down your coffees, your cocktails, your beers. I know y'all about to go to Universal this evening, so y'all, you ready for that? I love it. All right, so for this first part, I'd like everybody to raise your right hand. Yes, now raise your left hand. Yes, now give me a wave. Give me a wave. Now give me a little shimmy. Give me a little something, something. What's your name right here, sir? Front row? Kyle was like this, just moving it around. Kyle was getting it. I love it. All right, everybody have a seat. Hype session part 1 complete. Everyone pass with flying colors, especially Kyle. I'm taking the movement. I'm taking that. All right, now for the second part, we're all going to use our vocal cords, okay? So on the count of 3, I want everyone in here to shout as loudly as you can, yeah! And on the count of 3, y'all are so hyped. Calm down, my goodness. On the count of 3, we're all going to do this together, all right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Oh my goodness, are y'all drinking yet? Y'all are hype. I love this. Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you, of course, to the planners and the organizers for the invitation and allowing me to engage with you all in this way. Well, as you probably already gleaned from my time with you this afternoon, I'm going to be talking about something that every single person on the planet has gotten a lot closer to over these past few years, and that is change. But I'm going to be talking about the chemistry, the feelings, the emotions of change, and how to harness the power of that energy to fuel your growth through any change and any disruption. But before I dive in, I want to offer a couple things, all right? One is my commitment to all of you, and next is an ask that I have of you, okay? So let me start with my commitment. Each and every one of you are taking time out of what I know is a very busy and hectic schedule. Time to share with me and the rest of your colleagues. And so I want to make sure that I'm adding value for this time. Sharing some new perspective, some new way of thinking about things that's going to help you in your day-to-day starting tomorrow. That's my commitment to you. Now, next is an ask I have of you, all right? Y'all are already hyped, y'all are feeling good, and I love it. I just ask you to keep that good energy up. Let's remain present and engaged as we go through this. There's also going to be some time at the end for some Q&A. So as I'm going through the content, if you have a question, don't lose it. Make sure you jot it down on your phone or write it down, and I'll try to get to as many questions as we can. And I actually brought gifts for the first few who ask that question. So make sure you don't lose those questions, and we'll get to as many as we can at the end. Is that cool? Can we do that? Yay, I gotta meet this dude. Find me afterwards, whoever's over here. All right, cool, so let's get it going. So I've had the great honor and pleasure of not only giving a lot of presentations, but I've also been an attendee at a lot of different conferences and meetings all over the world. And for me, as an attendee, whenever I see somebody I don't know walk up on a stage, my first thought is always, who is this person? And why do I care to listen to them? It never fails, even if I just heard their bio. I'm always thinking to myself, how long am I gonna give this person my attention before I start multitasking, maybe checking my phone, or even getting up from the conference to start happy hour early, right? So as I stand here, one of your guest keynote presenters, I'm not gonna be naive enough and thinking there aren't at least 80% of y'all thinking something very similar about me right now in this moment, and that's okay, because what I wanna do to start is share a little bit more about myself and my background, but notably what drives my passion, my dedication, and my expertise around this whole idea of mastering the chemistry, the feelings, the emotions of change to fuel growth. Well, as you did here, I spent several years in more traditional roles of corporate America, leveraging my degree in chemical engineering. And it was all in the consumer packaged goods industry and predominantly at Procter & Gamble. So I have led organizations responsible for delivering innovation to some of the biggest brands and some of the largest markets in the world. As a chemical engineer, I got to do the product development, the process innovation, manufacturing reliability, and it was a really fun and rewarding career. But it was a career that was riddled in dealing with significant shift and change. From thriving in the face of multi-billion-dollar acquisitions, to leading the cultural integrations of those businesses, to delivering business results across many different regions and cultures all over the world. But you know, before even stepping foot at Procter, before day one in my professional career, I had been uniquely groomed for change. Groomed for change, and how to handle all that emotional complexity that comes with it. All right, I'm gonna time warp us. Okay, I wanna take us back. I wanna take us back to 1981. Yes! There's always at least one. Yes, 1981 was a good year. Now listen, this year was a one of significance for two reasons, okay? There were two events of significance that happened in 1981. The first, and by far most significant, my birth. Yes, that's right. Thank you for those claps. I appreciate y'all. Yes, 1981, I was welcomed into the world. Now look, you would have no idea with all the bliss and serenity on that face that my mom hadn't just endured about 14 hours of labor in making this happen. My mom rocks, okay? She's a rock star. Now, the second event of significance was also a birth of sorts, and that was the birth of the millennial generation. Yeah, that's right. 1981 is the year that most generational experts claim to be year one or ground zero of the millennials. So, you know, having been born in that same year, I like to tell people that I'm like a front runner of the millennials, yes? This sounds snazzy, right? Like I'm winning. Although, by show of hands, who in here has siblings? Who has siblings out there? Oh, a lot of y'all. Okay. Who in here has siblings that they actually like? Okay, cool, about 80%. I like it. We're holding firm. I like it. Now, I also have siblings, both older, and I both like and love them. But they use very different language for me. They call me the grandmother of the millennials, which, you know, it's not kind. It's not snazzy language. It's not what I use for myself. I say I'm a front runner of this generation. But what did this mean for me? What did this mean? I was literally born on a generational seam, right, on the divide between Gen X and Gen Y. So growing up, coming into adulthood, learning how to interact with the world and how the world interacts with me, the medium used to do so, the way in which we connect and communicate with another human being was constantly changing, right? As we're entering the digital age, the age of technology. So if somebody had sat me down and told me that not only was I gonna have to deal with all the changes that would happen to my body, but also changes in the fundamental way that I connect with another human being, my face would have looked more like this dude's, right? Because let's think about this. So in grade school, if I want to connect with kids in the classroom, I'm hand passing notes. There were no text messages. I'm passing notes so everybody couldn't read them, right? Nice and neat. Now I'm doing this until I got my very first pager. Who in here rocked a pager? Who knows? Yes. Y'all, I started to tuck my shirt in when I got a pager so that everybody could see how cool I was. Although thinking back, I probably didn't look that cool, but I thought I did at the time, right? But for those of you who rock those pagers, what are we doing once our hips start buzzing? Where are we going? Where are we going? To the payphone banks, right? Running back and forth to the payphones. Now I'm doing this until I got my first taste of a computer and the internet and very quickly got hooked to this guy. Who else was doing AOL? We got some cheers in the back. Yes, you've got mail. I stayed up late in these chat rooms chatting with whoever was online, whatever that meant. I didn't know what it meant. I just knew I was having fun. And in fact, I'm curious, show of hands, anyone in here still using an AOL email address? I see. There's a lot of y'all. Listen, change will come. Change can come. I see you. Now I'm doing this, staying up late in these chat rooms until I got my very first cell phone. The straight block Nokia. Yes, able to connect, our right hand clap, able to connect with anyone that I knew simply by reaching my hand in my pocket. Now, y'all know these cell phones have learning curves, right? So as soon as I had mastered that straight block Nokia, I got my second cell phone. Yeah. Then I got my third cell phone. Y'all remember the flip? Y'all know the flip. I see you waving, yes. And then I got my fourth cell phone, and oh my goodness, I had a very intimate relationship with the BlackBerry, yes. And then I got my fifth cell phone, and of course, by this time the phone is smarter than I am. So it's outfitted with all the social media apps, so I'm rocking Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm doing Facebook, and these learning curves have continued all the way to my current cell phone. Y'all don't judge me, you know the crack screen drama is real. In fact, by show of hands, who in here is rocking a crack on their screen right now? Oh my gosh, there's too many of us. We doing too much. We need to join a help group. Meet me outside afterwards. Now, I'm sharing all this to say, not just so we can lament over cracked screen drama or cheer about it. I'm sharing all this to say that through the course of growing up, coming into adulthood, I have learned adaptability, resilience, and perseverance. Adaptability, resilience, and perseverance. And so I stand in front of you today, a firm believer that if adaptability, resilience, and perseverance can be learned, it can be taught. And it can be taught short of going through these decades of life experience. And that's what this session is all about. I'm going to share a strategy with you that will enable your own unique signature of adaptability, resilience, and perseverance to shine. And I got to say, the time for you all to express that signature has never been near. In fact, it is here right now for each and every individual in this room. You know, as I think about you all and this incredible business that you're a part of, and I know there are many of you agents out there that joined the industry somewhat recently, definitely licensed after 2008, 2009, and you've experienced this crescendo of transactions, right, of business, closing deals all the time, especially during the pandemic, and now we're experiencing a contraction, right? Less and less transactions. You're seeing the economic volatility and thinking to yourself, okay, what now? What now? I'm used to closing deals every day and it's all dried up. So what do we do in this moment, right? So I'm certain there's room for maybe a bit of anxiety, maybe some fear, frustration, thinking about why is this turn? What do I do now to continue to build a business, to grow myself, as well as making sure that I have enough for my own livelihood, right? So now is the time to learn how to harness the power of that emotion, that energy, to fuel your growth. And not just the growth of your incredible business, but the growth of you as an individual, as an agent, as a leader, as an owner. That's what this session is all about. I'm going to share a strategy with you that will enable you to do just that. It's a strategy that when you can practice it on a consistent basis, it's going to give you a sense of excitement and enthusiasm for every major change, every pivot, every economic downturn that you might face. And a strategy that's ultimately going to enable you to become a point of inspiration to your colleagues, your peers, and even your clients. Does that sound like something that's relevant? Something y'all get down with? Yeah? Are y'all, yes? Can I get a yeah? Yeah. Okay, well, let's get into it then. Let's get to the good stuff, okay? So this strategy, it's a growth mindset, okay? And it's one that I've coined change enthusiasm. Change enthusiasm. So what is it, right? I'm sure some of y'all looking up at this screen sideways like, okay, change enthusiast, change enthusiasm. How is this any different from being a change agent or a change optimist? She just put in a little cute word at the end of change with no real meat behind it. Well, if you're thinking that, you actually couldn't be further from the truth, because this is a workable strategy. And it's a strategy that's worked through the practice of 3 simple steps. And those steps are the signal, the opportunity, and the choice. All right, and think about this like a traffic light. The red light being the signal, the yellow light being the opportunity, and the green light being the choice. Okay, the signal, the opportunity, and the choice. Thank you all so much. You've been amazing. Of course I'm kidding. Some of y'all clapping. You got it quick. 1, 2, 3, I'm here. No, I'm kidding. Of course I'm going to unpack this. I want to share a story with you on how I came to cultivate it and put it into practice in my own life. But before I do, I want y'all to engage with me, all right? I already feel the energy is good, and I just want to keep feeding off that. So by show of hands, who in here has seen the movie Psycho? Either the original, ooh, a lot of y'all. Y'all like horror movies. I love that. Okay. Now, for those of y'all still looking at me kind of sideways, just trust this is not where the presentation takes a horrible turn left. Okay, everyone's safe, everything's fine. But for those of you who've seen that movie, do you remember that one scene in the film? It's probably the most memorable scene of the whole movie, the shower scene. Y'all know that really chilling, stabby music that they play? Brink, 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 brink. Yes? Okay, listen, so when I do this motion, when I point to you, I want everyone in here to do your loudest and best rendition of that chilling, stabby music, okay? Now, we're about to practice this, because I don't want to be the only up here looking silly. But on the count of 3, everyone in here, your loudest and best. Wink, wink. You ready? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I love that. God, I get chills every time. So remember, when I point, that's the energy, that's the motion that I want you to give. Now, I will just offer a disclaimer. Y'all keep your hands to yourself as we're doing this, because I see some stabs going rogue to the right, and don't stab your neighbor, okay? Let's just keep it contained, as we go through it. All right, story time. So my very first major change challenge in my professional life came after I've been working at Procter & Gamble for about 3.5, 4 years. And I transitioned into a recently acquired business. Now, this was a multi-billion-dollar acquisition, so it was a really big deal. And upon entering, I was told I was being brought in not only to help continue delivering breakthrough innovation, but also to help integrate parent company tools and processes into that technical community. Now, I was naive and thinking this is going to be something similar to work I'd done in the past, right? I'm a rock star. I created tools, brought them to life in other businesses in that parent company. But day one in that tech community, I was met with a completely different business culture. The language was different. The behaviors were different. The cultural norms were different, right? Those common norms that I had grown so accustomed to and that had served me so well up until that point just did not exist. And on top of that, despite my very best intentions, the use of those tools and processes that I was supposed to bring to life in that business was met with what I'll call great adversity. I was lost. I was frustrated, and I felt like a fish out of water. And then to add insult to injury, I discovered one day that a colleague of mine had shared my data, my results, my conclusions and recommendations with senior leadership, not only without me being in the room, but without even acknowledging that it was all my work. And upon hearing this, of course, I shared it with my immediate manager, and they just simply brushed it off. Said, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. Yes, this is the first step. It's the signal, right? It's these feelings. I felt so frustrated with my colleague. I felt so angry with my manager because at Procter & Gamble, day one in that culture, you were taught the importance of your pie. Pie meaning performance, image, and exposure. And so here someone was stealing slices of my pie, and my manager could care less. So with every passing day, I was becoming more and more disengaged in my work and really looking for any opportunity to escape. And that's what the signal denotes. It's these really difficult emotions, the fear, the frustration, the anger, the anxiety, the feelings you just want to run away from, the feelings you just want to escape. In fact, as I think about all of you and what you're going through right now with the economic volatility and the market downturn, I'm certain some of you have felt some of these emotions, maybe even recently. And if you have, I want you to turn to one of your neighbors right now, and I want you to say, good gracious, yes. Y'all were quick on it. Yes, we've all been there, right? We've been there. Now, let me say this. If you're one of the ones who just shouted to your neighbor, good gracious, yes, let me say this. Congratulations. You got the signal, and it means something very big is happening for you. Well, you know, for me, back then, I was like all of you in the room. I hadn't yet created, let alone started to cultivate this whole mindset of change enthusiasm. So I was left to sink in that mental downward spiral. The brightest part of my day was lunch, because I would sit with a handful of other parent company colleagues who had transitioned in, and we would vent, we would commiserate, we would talk about how horrible things were. I was very quickly reaching a breaking point and really looking for any opportunity to escape. Well, in a last-ditch effort, I decided to reach out to a mentor. Now, she was a director at the time, and she was Heritage Parent Company. So in my mind, she was the solution to right every wrong in my work experience. Because not only was she in a position of influence, but she also would have the capacity to understand where I was coming from, unlike my line management. So, you know, I got on her calendar, got together an agenda, got together what I felt to be 3 very actionable help requests. Although, y'all know hindsight's 20/20, right? Hindsight 20/20. So in hindsight, those help requests might have well have read, number 1, fire this dude. Number 2, fire my manager. And number 3, promote me so I can fire these other 8 people I'm struggling with. Woo, don't judge me, okay, I was younger. Regardless, we met, you know, I'm going through the agenda, talking through the help request. Really, by the end, I'm just venting to this woman. And as I'm wrapping up, she looks at me and she says, Cassandra, I want to offer you some advice. You can either get bitter or you can get better. It's your choice. Woo! You talk about signal emotions. Now, of course, I responded in kind, thank you very much. But as I'm getting up and leaving her office, I am fuming. I'm fuming, and I'm thinking to myself, my choice? It's not my choice. I'm not the one in a position of influence. It's her, not me. And she wants to listen to me. So I made the decision I was going to keep looking for any way to escape, and I was actually going to quit. I was going to quit that company. But then something happened. Those words that she said, bitter or better, they stayed with me. And over the next several days, I started to embrace this idea that I had power, that I had control and say over my own work experience. And the more that I stepped into that idea, I stepped into a major moment of opportunity. Step 2. I just reached step 2 of the strategy of change enthusiasm, that yellow light. In fact, this is a good time for me to take just a quick aside, just to get to know y'all a little bit better. So do me a favor, let's turn the house lights back up. And I want y'all to do me a favor. I want you to envision yourselves, you're in your cars, you're driving, and you approach a traffic light, and it turns yellow. And in that moment, I want you to, oh, it's gonna be bad. I can already see. And in that moment, I want you to signal to me what you're doing when you're behind the wheel, okay? All right, give me a number 1 if you're slowing down. Safety first. Oh, no, she's safety first. We got 2 in the room. Okay, I see you. Okay. Now give me a number 2 if you're flooring it, because you got places to be. What's your name right here, last row in the middle with the black? Yeah. What's your name? Ani? Lonnie. I see you, Lonnie. Lonnie was like this and cheering. What up? I see you. I'll come back to you, Lonnie. I see you. All right, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up for me. Now give me a number 3 if it depends. If it depends. All right, I see some 3s. Some of y'all think what you 2s. Lonnie, stand back up for me. Let me talk to you for a minute. She hype? Okay, so what kind of car do you drive? Well, 1500. We'll go with the truck. What color is the truck, the Dodge Ram 1500? What color? Black. If y'all live around Lonnie, just look out for a black Ford Ram truck. We don't know what Lonnie doing behind the wheel. I'm just kidding. Never seen. I'm joking around with you. But you know what ultimately we're doing in this time? We're in a decision-making process, right? Weighing options, exploring what's possible. How much distance do I have between me and the light? How fast am I going? Are there any squirrels or children that I don't want to run over, right? And really what we thinking? I don't know about Lonnie, but what we thinking? Where are the cops? Are there cops? Are there cameras? Like, what's really going to be the issue if I run this thing, right? This is ultimately a decision-making process. You're weighing options, exploring what's possible. And that's exactly what step 2 of the strategy of change enthusiasm is all about, right? You've recognized these feelings as a signal. You've accepted their invitation into your moment of opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve, becoming better, weighing options on how you can milk that opportunity for all it's got, yeah? So for me, back then, having let those words of wisdom resonate bitter better, I saw a couple options, okay? I could either remain resigned, despising going into the office, resenting the majority of my colleagues, and basically in a state of misery, looking for any opportunity to escape. Or I could choose to trust that despite their behavior, they had my best interest at heart, the one that shared my results. Because that was really the behavior that was giving me the worst feelings. But I could choose to trust that despite that behavior, they were not acting maliciously. And the more that I leaned into making this decision, I started to get a different feeling, right? I started to feel intrigued. Because if not acting maliciously, then why? Why would they have done the things that they did? But in that moment, intrigue felt better than resentment. And intrigue successfully created a path for me to re-engage in my work. So that's what I did. I made a conscious, productive choice to inspire a better feeling and ultimately a better result, right? That's step 3, that green light. You've recognized these feelings as a signal. You've accepted their invitation into your moment of opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve, weighing options. And then from those options, making a conscious, productive choice to inspire a better feeling and ultimately a better result, right? The signal, the opportunity, and the choice. So what, right? I always like to share, so what happened as a result of me practicing this mindset, really working it on a daily basis. Well, at first, it just looked like my engagement with my colleagues in a different way, right? Seeking first to understand, but ultimately, I was inspired. I was inspired to write a series of intercompany articles that I called my diaries. And the intent was to share where I thought there was true strength that needed to get reapplied in that business and where I thought there were opportunities to grow. And for one of those articles, I decided to interview several of my working team colleagues, including the one that I thought wronged me. And I asked questions like, what are you most proud of? And how do you think your functional expertise can not only explode results in this business unit, but also other businesses around the parent company? And in having these conversations, I discovered the fundamental differences in cultural norms across those 2 different companies. And come to find out, that colleague wasn't acting maliciously. They were just abiding by a different set of cultural norms. And in having these conversations, it was so eye-opening and healing for me. And when I published them out, I just wanted one person. I wanted one person to read them and feel the sense of healing that I felt. because it truly was tremendous. Y'all know what happened? It was wild. It was nuts what happened. So that article, the one in particular with the interviews, became in the top 3 most widely read in the entire company for several weeks in a row. I think when it was all said and done, it had like over 6,000 reads. Now, let me calibrate you right quick. So up until this point, I was lucky if I got like 100 reads on a report. So this is a really big deal. I had colleagues stopping me in the hallway, thanking me for writing their reports, saying how my words had helped nurture much needed dialogue between them and their working team colleagues. But you know what the best part was? The best part of taking control of my own work experience, reaching for that better and better. I went to a women's networking event, and we had also invited a speaker in, and it was the president of that business. And during his talk, he pointed me out in front of everybody. He's like, "You're Cassandra, right?" And of course, I'm looking at this dude like a deer in headlights. I had no idea he knew who I was. He's like, "You're Cassandra, right?" He said, "I want to thank you for writing those reports." He said, "Although there were a couple points I didn't necessarily agree with," he said, "I want to thank you for the courage it took to write them." And then he got really honest with me and the rest of the group. He said their most glaring mistake in the acquisition and the integration was not recognizing and fully embracing the differences in cultural norms. But he said it was perspectives like mine that was helping he and his senior leadership team understand where the tension points lied so that they could create plans to address them. As a junior, female, Black, queer engineer in that organization, I effectively influenced the culture of the org from bottom to top, simply by taking control of my own work experience, reaching for that better and better. Now, y'all, please don't get me wrong, okay? This was not all sunflower seeds and rocket ships and rainbows and love. I need to learn the same. It wasn't all good. It wasn't all good. I continued having challenges in that business. And at any given point in time, a better feeling might have looked like stress, because stress felt better than depression. A better feeling might have looked like annoyance, because annoyance felt better than rage. A better feeling might have looked like intrigue, because intrigue felt better than resentment. Yeah, is it making sense to you, the signal, the opportunity, and the choice? Yeah? Yeah. And by working this strategy, I actually ended up getting myself top rated in that business, landing the growth opportunity I would not have had I not transitioned into that business. So the more that you can embrace this mindset, recognize and acknowledge your own signal emotions, not suppressing them, stepping into your moment of opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve, becoming better, weighing those options, and then choosing how you show up, how you navigate, how you experience disruption and market volatility, you're gonna come to find that the really big changes, the really big downturns, they never happen to you. They happen for you, to serve your evolution to your very best self, allowing you to unleash that inner rock star that I know you all have within. And it works, yes, yes sir, yes sir. It works. You know, this is a mindset, a strategy I employed not only in that business, but also many years later as an executive leading another multi-billion-dollar acquisition, and then of course founding and now scaling my global consultancy. And it works, no matter where you are in the industry, your position, your title, it meets you exactly where you sit, enabling you to build that resilience muscle. But what I want to do now is just switch gears a little bit, okay? So just so you all know, my mom is a retired French teacher, and she never lets me forget there are multiple learning modalities, okay? We all learn a little bit differently. Some of us are more audio learners, some of us are more visual. We got to get our eyes on it, always taking notes. Some of us are more experiential, right? We've got to get our hands in there to really learn it. So what I want to do is break down the mindset of change enthusiasm in a very visual way, and shout out to any visual learners out there. But I want to do this in a way that hopefully will begin to help all of you to digest this information a little bit better. And I want to add some tips and tricks on how you can begin employing this in your day-to-day starting tomorrow, okay? So let's break down the mindset of change enthusiasm in a very visual way. So the first thing that happens in the practice of this mindset is there's some type of a change event, like being given a new market, like a huge economic downturn, like a new systems integration, like being a part of a multi-billion-dollar acquisition. And that sets us off on a path. And typically, the first things we face on this path are what I call the signal emotions of change. And those are fear, frustration, anger, anxiety, grief. And it's in this first step that you're acknowledging these emotions, right? Not suppressing, not ignoring them, but allowing them to exist. And this is really about knowing you, right? What does fear feel like in my body? How does anger, frustration, how does that manifest? Like for me, when I was in that business, I knew I was angry and frustrated almost every day, because of the hair standing up on the back of my neck and my elevated heart rate in almost every meeting. But it was in that knowing that I was able to explore the thoughts, bringing my awareness into the emotional energy. Thoughts like, this is not a place where I can grow. My colleagues don't have my back and I need to quit. But by exploring those thoughts, I was able to create space between my conscious thinking and the emotional energy. And in that space, I can inject trust that those emotions were existing for a reason, to invite me into yet another moment of opportunity to learn and grow. So as soon as you can accept that invitation, you move into the second step, the opportunity. And this is really where all the work happens, right? This is where you're asking yourself, how can I use this moment to work for me as opposed to against me? How can I take this time when there's a bit of a lull to work on systems integration, learn new platforms, technology, innovation that is really beginning to take your industry by storm and is almost becoming an expectation of your client base? So how can you use this time to grow in those realms? How can you use it to learn about yourself, your likes, your dislikes, learn about your market, the business, the industry? How can you maximize this opportunity, this moment that you're all within? And once you've weighed those options for whatever event or whatever moment you might be in, you're then moving to the third step, the choice, right? And this is really where all the magic happens. Through the power of choice, we can begin to transform that signal emotional energy into what I call the growth-sustaining emotions of change. It's like transforming anxiety of all the negative implications into anticipation of how much you'll learn, how much you'll grow. And listen, I know it is a very rare breed that can move all the way from anxiety to anticipation with just one choice, okay? I can't even do that. But that's not what this is about. And it's certainly not about flying in the face of any recommendations or from medical professionals as it relates to anxiety or depression. I know those are very real ailments. It's about managing and dealing with those very real emotions, that difficult part of change and disruption, allowing that to exist, trusting it exists to serve us so that we can use it to transform it into that fuel to move forward. And it's certainly not about blind or toxic positivity, always being rah-rah. It's about recognizing that difficulty in ourselves as well as those around us. And then sitting in that opportunity, choosing how you show up, how you lead, how you inspire, how you navigate through tough times and through change. But here's the reality, right? Here's my reality, y'all's reality. You're gonna face an infinite amount of change, right? In your personal and your professional lives, infinite. And with every change event, every new happening, you're gonna invite it right back into that first step, right? Inspired by these signal emotions. Invited to practice these steps, 1, 2, and 3, over and over, over and over. And the more revolutions you make, the more times you can practice this mindset. And honestly, sometimes I practice it 10 times in a day. But the more that you can practice this, you're literally gonna be rewiring the chemistry of your brain and building what I'm trusting to be your resilience muscle, right? I'm a firm believer that resilience is not anything that we're born with. It has to be ripped and stretched and torn to get built up over time. And we do that through the practice of experiencing change and ultimately through the practice of this mindset. So the more revolutions you make, that stronger that resiliency will grow. And you'll find you'll spend less time in the signal emotions of change and more time in your opportunity, more time with those growth-sustaining emotions, propelling you forward, fueling you forward, seeing how you can learn, grow, evolve, using change as opposed to change using you, yeah? And it works. It works. Like I said, I've been practicing this for over 2 decades now, and I've seen the data replicated not only for my own personal life, but now with thousands of individuals all over the world, and it works. But what I want to do now before we close and we get to some Q&A is I want to offer some insight on how we employ this mindset, these tools, when we're leading others, when we're inspiring others through their growth and their opportunity. I know there's a lot of you with teammates and team members that you look to nurture and grow and inspire. So I want to share some insights from our research at Change Enthusiasm Global. At CEG, we firmly believe that growth potential is determined by what happens at the intersection of change and emotion. What you do when the fear hits, when the anxiety hits, when the hope comes, when the enthusiasm comes. What do you do in that moment? That's what defines your growth potential. And so we have decided to create a lot of unique value to our client base around the world at this intersection, as well as conduct research all around the world, really seeking to understand what are those common emotions that employees feel when going through a lot of change and disruption? What drives resistance? What are effective strategies to mitigate resistance to change? And so I want to share 3 of those insights from the research, notably here in North America. The first is the power of empathy. Now, I know you've all heard the importance of this, and many of you are probably already practicing it, but I just want to double down with our data. We have discovered that 78% of working Americans will more readily adapt to change and growth when they feel safe sharing their truest emotions. Their truest emotions. Not just the really upbeat, positive ones, but the whole gamut of emotional energy. And that's incumbent upon us as peers, as leaders, to invite that emotion, right? And hold that space, listening, withholding judgment. And as Brené Brown teaches us, conveying that message of you are not alone is very powerful. And the other thing that I'll mention when you're practicing empathetic leadership is the importance of trust, right? Because if you haven't nurtured trust through consistent action and behavior, you might ask that question, how is it going? What are you being challenged by? And you hear, oh, I'm fine, or it's fine. And you know it's not fine. So you have to be nurturing that trust as you move through this as well. The second insight is about curiosity. And this is as it relates to resistance. And actually, I'm curious. By show of hands, who in here would actually self-assess as resistant to change? That's just your natural way. Okay, I see it, yeah. A few hands, yeah, of course. Okay, hands down. Show of hands, who in here would say one or more of their coworkers are resistant to change? Ooh, a lot more hands have gone up, a lot more hands. Now, this is actually replicated in the data. In the US, we found that 41% of working Americans actually self-assess as resistant, while 56% think their coworkers are. In fact, I asked that question to an audience not too long ago, and there was a young lady who not only raised her hand, but she pointed at her colleague, which, you know, that was kind of rough. It was rough. We had fun with it, but it was rough. So you know what this tells me? It's important to get curious about what's driving that resistance, because it's real and needs to be understood, and it needs to be embraced, right? Because resistance truly is energy, right? It's just energy moving in the opposite direction of change and growth. So how can you get curious with those individuals, learning what is that resistance rooted in? And in our studies, we have found that 9 times out of 10, it's those signal emotions, the fear, the discomfort, right? The anxiety of not wanting to be uncomfortable. So understand what that's rooted in, and then it helps to inspire that individual to redirect that energy to become resilience as opposed to resistance. Now, the final aspect that we learn is the power of two-way communication, right? We tested a myriad of different strategies on how to effectively help employees overcome their resistance to change. The number one most effective strategy in the US was regular and clear communication from leadership on the status of the change, or the progress, the disruption, et cetera. Now, the second most powerful avenue, the second most powerful strategy, was having avenues established for employees, for teammates to feed back what's working, what's not working, what are they challenged by, where do they see opportunity. So make sure that two-way street is open as you think about communicating, not just dispersing information to your teams, to the workforce, but also listening back to what looks like support, what looks like help, and their ideas that they want to see integrated as well. So as we come to a close here, and by the way, if you're interested in that data, snag a shot of this. This website will actually take you to all of our white papers. We've done this all around the world, and I really feel that we have discovered insights of employees saying those things that they're probably not telling you, right? Even in employee surveys. And so snag that if you're interested in learning more, and also some insights and tools you can bring back to your teams. So each and every one of you have just heard something a little bit different, right, as it relates to emotion and change enthusiasm. And just as the third step of this mindset goes, you are all now sitting in the seat of choice. It's up to you. It's up to you whether or not you'll embrace this mindset, begin practicing it on a regular basis, inspiring others to invite, to practice it as well. It's up to you. Now, of course, it's my hope that you'll all choose to say, yeah, to practicing change enthusiasm. Now, for those of you who do, here's a challenge, my challenge to you. So before the conference closes, you're going to receive a worksheet that will invite you to put into practice the concepts that you just heard. And I just want to tee one of these up just to get your minds going. For your next day of work, I want you to take 5 or 10 minutes of self-reflection. And I want you to think about one change or an aspect of a change that's inviting your strongest signal emotions, the most fear, the most anxiety. And I want you to name it. And then I want you to find 3 ways, identify 3 ways that aspect or that change is inviting you to grow, to learn about yourself, your likes, your dislikes, learn about your peers, your colleagues, learn about your client base, the industry, your market. 3 ways. And then I want you to capture one action you're committed to taking to milking one of those opportunities for all it's got. One action. Now, of course, it's great if you capture more than one action. There's multiple ways to capture that on that worksheet. But anything that you capture, I actually want you to hold yourselves accountable to doing. Which brings me to a bit of a secondary challenge, right? I know that y'all are about to close and go to Universal, but at some point, find someone and ask them to be your accountability partner. Who's heard that language before? Accountability buddy. Yeah. Usually we hear it in the context of the gym, right? It's that person that I can't stand until I'm leaving the gym, then I'm grateful, right? Well, find someone that you can ask to be your accountability partner. Get on each other's calendar in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Talk about what it was like doing this worksheet. What did you capture? What are you being challenged by? And what was inspired? What happened as a result of you taking these actions? Let's hold ourselves accountable to building each other up, nurturing our own resiliency as we move forward. Yeah, that's my challenge to each and every one of you. So as you're getting back into your day-to-day, right, as you're getting back into the grind, as you're getting back into the business, and from time to time when a signaling motion is inspired, right, when you feel that fear, when you feel that anxiety or that frustration, and in that moment, when the easy choice is simply to disengage, when the easy choice is to just keep doing things the way you've always done them, in that moment, what will you choose? Bitter or better? Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. Goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so before we go into the next part, which is Q&A, and this is honestly my favorite part, we do have microphones set up here in the front, but as we're going to that transition, before I start answering your questions, I actually have a question I want to ask all of you. So I'm so grateful to say that this change enthusiasm mindset has actually become a global movement. A lot of individuals have started to practice this all around the world, so much so that we're actually doing a film project on it. And I would love it if you all would be a part of it. Yes? Is that cool? Can y'all do that? So if you're willing, I'd ask all of you to stand. Ask all of you to stand. Yes? Make sure your hands are free. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a video, and I want, on the count of 3, all of you to shout, "We are change enthusiasts." Yeah, on the count of 3. And then after we end with enthusiasts, I just want you to yell, I want you to holler, I want you to do a dance. Just give me a whole bunch of energy as we do this. Is that cool? Y'all do that? All right, awesome. Let's do it, let's do it. First, it's gotta be a selfie. I gotta turn this thing around. All right, let me press the record button. All right, here we go. I'm gonna count to 3. We're all gonna do this. You ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. We are change enthusiasts. Woo! Yes! Yes! Woo! Awesome! Thank y'all so much. I can't wait for that to come out. I'll make sure y'all get a link when the film does launch. So that said, if anyone has a question, please come up. I always tell people you can ask me whatever you want. I just may or may not answer it. But you can ask me. And I did bring 5 signed copies of my book. So as you ask a question, there's going to be someone standing there. Make sure you give them your first and last name, and we'll make sure a book gets to you at some point this evening before you head home, okay? Perfect. Yes, talk to me. I love that bag.
Hi.
Hi there. And tell me your name, please.
It's Victoria.
What up, Victoria?
It's so great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, so my question is, what inspired you to pursue a career in leadership and personal development? And what have been some of the most valuable lessons you've learned along the way?
I love it, Victoria. Thank you so much. So I would say my transition was really about listening to my intuition, listening to that whisper. You know, ever since I started corporate, I heard that whisper that there's something better, there's something different I should be doing with my gifts and talents. And real talk, just straight up, this really didn't become very impactful and meaningful to me until I said, yeah, to my alcoholism, So when I decided to get sober, that's when that intuition became a shout, and I could no longer ignore it or numb it out. And it was in, thank you, it's in sobriety, and it's been gonna be 9 years in November. Thank you, thank y'all, thank you. But yeah, that's when I just started getting curious. What could this mean? I'm listening to this shout. What does this look like? And then one day I found myself on a stage talking about this thing that I'm so passionate about that has helped change my life. And I was lit up. And I have embraced that this is a part of my purpose. And I'm walking the exact path that I'm supposed to be on. And I'm so very grateful because it allows me to engage and be with all of you. So, yeah.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay, talk to me.
Hi.
What up?
My name is Lena, and I'm 19 years old.
Oh, what up, Lena?
Yeah, I've been an agent for 4 months now.
Yes!
And I wanted to ask you 2 questions.
Sure.
My first question for you is, have you ever had an opportunity that you've passed on that you now regret?
Ooh, an opportunity that I passed on that I later regretted. So there have been a lot of opportunities that I've passed on, but there's something about regret that it's my personal perspective and view. I try not to put any stock or belief in regret because every decision that I have made, every action that I've taken has gotten me on the stage standing in front of you. And so I'm grateful for that. And so I know that those reasons, those decisions, they happen for a reason, and I embrace that. And so I don't practice regret because I am grateful that every step of the way has brought me to this point and made me the person that I am. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. What's your next question? Talk to me.
Next question is, I work a retail job at Walmart, and it's like a 1 to 10, so it's like very hard working, and I don't think it's the right thing for me because I want to focus more on real estate.
Yes.
Now, tomorrow I might get fired because I've been here for 4 days.
No, I'm not gonna wish that on you. I'll wish you on that. Yeah, go ahead.
So my question is, do you think I should focus more on real estate and just quit? Because my goal would be to focus on real estate and to like get more sales, obviously, and hopefully attend the, what's it called?
eXp Con.
Yeah, thank you.
They got your back. They got you. They got you.
So yeah, what's your advice?
Yeah. So I'm not gonna get prescriptive and tell you which direction to go because I don't know that answer, but you do. You do. You're the only one that can answer that question. But I will give you the perspective from where I was at, working in corporate, still really enjoying the work, solving really complex problems, engaging with individuals, but I knew there was something more, something better. And so I started cultivating and building my consultancy on the side, as a side hustle. And this curiosity that I had, and every stage I got on, the curiosity blossomed into a passion. And so for me, it was like the energy of my life was pulling me in this direction. And so I would only advise that you stay in tune with you, have those quiet moments of reflection, continuing asking yourself that question, and you'll hear the answer. You'll hear the answer. And continue to follow that energy and your intuition and trust it.
Thank you so much.
And
Can
congratulations.
I meet up with you after this?
Sorry?
Can I meet up with you after this?
Of course. I'll be at a meet and greet somewhere. Amy's going to tell me where I'm going, but yes, I'll be around. I'll be around.
You.
Awesome. Thank you. Cool. Who's next? Yes. Oh, what it do? Okay, pickup truck.
Okay. I guess I'm going. So one, I'm Lonnie. So I'm so excited to meet you. So thank you for being a leader, for being somebody in the LGBT community to stand up and represent.
Absolutely.
To be a motivational speaker, to face adversity head on, and to create a path. So thank you so much, first of all, for that.
Thank you.
Second of all, I do want to take a selfie with you. So
let's do it.
Come up
Absolutely.
On the stage. But
Yeah.
then before that,
you run this thing, don't you?
Only sometimes. What do you think has been your biggest defining moment, and how did you come up with the self-confidence and self-esteem? Because I know some of my colleagues out here, they are struggling with their self-confidence, the belief in themselves to be able to push forward in this market. So
I get you.
What is something that you can advise for them that might be able to help create that belief in themselves to push forward in this?
Great question, Lonnie. So I'll just revisit back to March of 2020. March of 2020 when the world stopped. And I had been doing my current work about a year at that point. And of course, the nature of my job is about respiratory droplets, right? That's a real big part of my work. And so as I, in March, saw my calendar and all the revenue go to almost zero, you talk about signaling emotions. And it's also the same month that I signed my book deal. And so I wrote my book in the first 8 months of the pandemic when I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, in this business. But what I had to keep coming back to, number one, I had to practice this mindset more than any time else in March and April and those few months. But it was a trust and a knowing that I am in my lane, that I have created something that the world needs now more than ever. And then also a trust, and this is something that has been instilled in me from my parents from when I was younger, that infinite abundance is my birthright, And although I was having those moments of, why did you leave a consistent paycheck? You had benefits. What are you doing? I had to rest back to that trust. No, infinite abundance is my birthright, and I'm doing the work I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm going to choose to keep leaning into this. I'm going to choose to keep taking those actions to grow and nurture this business. And it has shot off like a rocket ship because of that trust in the work and what I bring, my innate worth and my innate value. And I ask all of you to trust in that innate value and that worth because it is there inherent within all of you. No matter what the market is doing, you have that value, that rock star worth. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, yes, talk to me.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for sharing with us today. Glenn built this company. We are very diverse, and it makes us a lot stronger. Yeah. So we do learn a lot of things here together, and we all have that potential in us, right? But what sets that apart? How do we get out of that? How do we become leaders? What's the key there? So we can share the beautiful things that we have here with others in the world.
Of course. I have found a great question. Tell me your name.
Scott from Connecticut.
Awesome. What up, Scott from Connecticut? I used to work in Connecticut with Duracell. Gorgeous state. How do we become leaders? So I believe that you can lead from wherever you sit. You don't have to have the fancy title or the position. You can lead from wherever you sit. And for me, yes, for me, the most inspiring individuals that I want to follow are the ones that are comfortable in their own skin, that are shining their authentic light, that have traveled that journey to come to know themselves and then sharing that as brightly with the world as they can, which includes a bit of vulnerability, which includes not always having the right answers. And so for me, true inspired leadership, that's what that looks like. And sharing that vulnerability and then sharing your authentic light as best as you can. And from wherever you sit, you can do that. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, that happened this week, so.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott from Connecticut. Yes. Oh, what up? I didn't know there's a mic over there. What it do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's you. Yes, yeah.
Hey, what's up? So I'm Mike Collier.
What up, Mike?
Originally from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, yes, that's where I live now.
Okay, I saw the 678.
Yes.
Okay. But I'm here in Orlando, and I really think it's interesting because you said you have a chemical engineering background.
I do.
My dad is a chemical engineer.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so I thought it was really interesting because you basically reverse engineered this product from where you were, right?
You got it.
Right. So that's what you did, and I believe that, as you said, life kind of propels us through these different changes and obstacles, and we're constantly seeing we're always in the face of these different changes that we have to go through. So I guess my question is, how does someone take where they've been into where they're going?
Yeah.
Like there's transferable skills that I think many times as we step into real estate, we're like, hey, I'm a realtor now, or I am this. We kind of neglect where we've been. And just like the young lady who's working at Walmart right now, there's even transferable skills. There's things that she's learning in that can bring her into her role in real estate.
Yep.
So how do you suppose, or how do you suggest that people take those transferable skills to really look at where they've been and take it into where they're going?
I love that, Mike. Great question. So the first is to just acknowledge and be aware that we do have those transferable skills, that all of the experiences, all the hardship, all the difficulty that we've been through has morphed and created this being that we are right here today. And there's so much wealth that can get transferred in those hard times. And I honestly have found that I learn the most, and I think I grow the most during the most difficult times. But it's about recognizing that we have those transferable skills and then allowing yourself the time to reflect, to think about what is it that I've grown? How have I grown in this moment? What have I actually learned over these past months or these past years? What do I want to take forward? So I think it's a matter of having that intentionality to actually think about how those skills have grown and how you can transfer them moving forward. And the way that I do that is straight up documented in journals. So I journal on a very avid basis, on a daily basis. It's actually a spiritual practice for me. But I always think about and reflect, what has this taught me? Especially when it's really difficult. How have I become better because of this experience? And then I'm able to flip back and look through that journal and think about, ooh, look what I learned, look what I learned. And so the documentation, getting it in black and white really helps me. But take the time to reflect. Reflect about, especially during those hardships, how have you grown? How have you become better? And then you can use that as what I call a seed of trust, so that when devastation, something hard hits again, you can think, ooh, I I've been through something like this, or I felt those emotions before, but look at the good that came from it. Look at those skills that I was able to develop. And then that can allow you to move forward. Ooh, there's something good in store for me here. I'm about to learn something. I'm about to become better because of this hardship. Yeah.
That's good. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yes. Talk to me.
Hello.
Hello.
So Sean from Massachusetts.
What up, Sean from Mass? What part of Massachusetts?
Cambridge.
Nice. I live there too. It's cool.
Oh, let's go. Let's connect. First of all, thank you for being here. Everything you did was absolutely amazing. And listening to this, I'm a military veteran. I've been a firefighter 26 years in Cambridge.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And I'm a realtor, and I'm going back, I'm listening to everything you're saying. I'm like, man, I've gone through that. It's so great. But my question is, we like the ink. What was your first tattoo? Why'd you get it? Let's go.
I love that question. And thank you for your service.
Change it up,
Yeah, thank you for your service. I appreciate you, sir. This is one that I don't think I've ever been asked on it. No, once before I was asked on a stage. So my very first tattoo was this one. If you're seeing for the camera to come in. I always knew that I wanted to get ink, but I didn't know what it was that I wanted. And this marked my first year of sobriety. My first year of sobriety. Yeah. And it actually came to me in a dream. And I woke up and I drew it in my journal. And for me, it is the depiction of consciousness. So this is a nerve cell with dendrites. Of course, a tree that represents life, everything that lives. Energy, so you see that in the clouds with lightning. And then an aura of this energy. Without these elements, consciousness can't exist. Consciousness can't use these vessels that we have to make the world a better place. So this is my first one. Yeah. Cool. Talk to me.
Hello, I'm
Hello.
Nieto. I'm in California.
You already got the book.
Got your book. Yeah.
Oh
I
my
read it and
goodness.
listened to it. I like the audiobook better.
Thank you.
I actually wanted to know, you speak with such amazing energy and you look like you're having fun and you enjoy what you're doing. Watch some of your TED Talks. I was just curious, how many times have you been on stage and really performed these types of topics?
Yeah.
Spoken on these topics before you felt like you were really bringing the impact and the energy that matched your heart to the stage?
It's a really good question. And I will tell you, it was from the very first engagement that I ever did, because I knew that I had landed the engagement about 6 months before I actually had to execute it. And it was actually back with Procter & Gamble. And when I knew that I had landed it, I of course, sculpted the speech, the message, what had the impact that I wanted to have. And I knew that when I was on that stage, it needed to flow and feel like I had already delivered it 100 times. And so in my kitchen, that's what I did. I delivered that speech 100 times. I'd wake up and I'd do the speech every day. I did it for at least 100 times going into that engagement. So by the time I hit the stage, I knew the words. The words were there. The words were in my subconscious. And then I could engage. Then I could inject a little bit of flavor. And of course, the more that you do this, the more that you're able to do that, because the words are there. They're fed to me. I can hear them. And then that allows me to engage a little bit with you all, a little bit, riffing a little bit. Yeah. But I did it 100 times in my kitchen before I actually had a real stage. Thank you. And find me afterwards. I'm happy to sign that for you if you'd like. Beautiful. We're out of time. Thank you all so much for your engagement. You all are amazing. Thank you.
A big thank you to the amazing Cassandra. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. eXp family, just like she told you, you can lead from where you sit. Don't leave. Ed Milet challenged us to exercise the power of one more. We have one more amazing thing in store for you. Want to welcome to the stage eXp Realty agents John Marone and Smita Singh.
What's going on, everybody? Everybody don't leave. Come back. We got something special for you guys.
Let's keep it going for Cassandra Worthy. Guys, wasn't that fabulous?
Woo!
And thank you all for all of y'all that came up here to ask questions. That was amazing. John, what did you think?
I mean, absolutely amazing. This entire event has been amazing. I've been writing notes nonstop. Gonna go home and implement a bunch of it in the business. eXp family, what'd you guys think of day 2? Was it good? Was enough. Was it good? What about you? What'd you think?
Oh my gosh, I loved it. But can I just say, yesterday at Milet, I was totally crying. I had goosebumps. Totally loved him. And the Net Promoter Score, I need to go get that book.
Yes.
I'm gonna be listening to it when I am on the plane tomorrow.
Yes, I love it. Everybody do me a favor. Come a little closer. If you're going to the thing, come a little closer, right? I want to know first off, who here is going to Universal? Anybody going to Universal? Awesome. I'll be out there. My family will be out there. My kids go to bed at 8:30, so it's going to be fun. So if you see anybody with a few drinks in their hand, it might be me. Make sure you guys bring your bracelets, all right? It leaves at 7:30, so don't forget your bracelets.
I know I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna go on that Hogwarts ride.
That's it, that motorcycle,
motorcycle
baby.
ride, that's what I'm going for. But before we go, guys, we wanna thank all our sponsors, give them a big shout out. You have helped us make this event incredible, and we would not be able to do this without you. So thank you all so much for your support. Now I wanna take a moment and take a quick pause. Wherever you guys are, just take a moment and visualize the top 3 things that you're gonna take away from this conference. And you're gonna go implement it, because that is the key. We're taking all these notes, but what are we gonna do with it?
Yes. All right, guys, so I got to get real for a second. You guys good with that? You guys good? We learned a lot the last few days, yes or yes? I'm telling you, though, when we go home, there's a storm that's going to be waiting for us. There's going to be obstacles that are going to be had. The market ain't going to get better tomorrow, right? But guess what? It's tough agents that last, not tough markets. And when you go home and adversity hits you, you got 2 choices, guys. You can either step up or step out. You got 2 choices. Step up or step out in the face of adversity. So I need to know from everybody in here, when you want to quit, when that obstacle is in your way, when you're in a dark place, eXp, you going to step up or step out? Nah, so you don't even believe it yourself, because I promise you, we won't be there to rescue you. It's going to be you and you alone. So I need to know, are we going to step up or step out? Step up or step out? One more time, step up or step out? Love it, guys.
eXp, we're not done yet. To wrap things up, we have a special treat for you. So stand up and take out your phones. You will not want to miss this.
eXp family,
all right.
I now call your attention to the flag procession that will be moving through the audience, representing the 24 countries that eXp operates in globally. Please stand, acknowledge, and cheer for all of our flag holders. Representing the United States of America, Chad Hedrick. Representing Canada, Rachel Vanderveen. Let's make some noise, get excited. DJ, if you got some music for me. Representing the United Kingdom, Scott Gunn. Carrying the flag of Australia, Felicity Harden. Representing South Africa, Christine Chow. Carrying the flag of India, Shashank Chauhan. Representing Mexico, Gisela Sanchez. One global family, core value of community. Representing Portugal, Sunny Singh. Give it up for France, carrying the flag of France, Samuel Koo. Representing Puerto Rico, Anibal Sanz Madera. Oh, I hear it. Let's give it up for Brazil, Oscar Morales. Representing Italy, Ilaria Profumi. Carrying the flag of Hong Kong, Thomas Howe. Representing Colombia, Catalina Jaramillo. Representing Spain, Jessica Culp. Representing Israel, Monica McDonald. Carrying the flag of Panama, Bernie Carrascal. Representing Germany, carrying the flag is Sarah Delancig. Carrying the flag of the Dominican Republic is Rick Jihab. Representing New Zealand is Selena Galanes. Representing Chile, Virginia Restrepo. Carrying the flag of Poland today, Jacek Istrebski. And representing Dubai of the United Arab Emirates, Dave Gagnon. Take a picture, take a video. We are one global family operating in 24 countries, one team, one dream. Woo! All right, now I ask you to make sure to keep the aisles clear as our flag procession exits. Once they are off the stage and going where they need to go, you can follow them out. So you got just a couple seconds to take some pictures, and then I need to ask the front of the stage to clear out, and you can follow our flag procession outside for your photo op. If you're right here in front of these screens, you need to clear out. Thank you to all our flag bearers. eXp family, thank you for coming to Shareholder Summit. This concludes the general session. We'll see you at Universal Studios.
Hoje é tudo nosso. Quando eu chamo o mundo inteiro pra jogar é